was built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on the gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grieving. Put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah.
I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily spreading like a rare disease, but I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this. Freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus. Living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it. Go on and take your aim.
Yeah. Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grieving. Put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective, in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
When we get to the FBI, we don't know who did the work. You heard that any of that information is redacted. We don't know who did the work. It's a giant secret. We know that by the time the FBI gets involved, the profile, the text file, that's a snip to use to try to identify somebody is more than twice as big when it gets to the FBI from Othram. We don't know how.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What up, Hive? How's everybody doing tonight? As always, I am always so excited for the call-in shows. And tonight is a very special night. The Hive has officially hit 50,000 freaking subscribers. So thank you all so much for the support, for the people that have been here since TikTok when I was fumbling through the streams. We have come a very long way. We have made a lot of progress. I am honored to sit in this chair every night at 7 p.m. Central with you all. But it's really not just about the numbers. It's about the people and what this community has turned into. And I think that it's very fitting that on the night we hit a milestone of 50,000, we do a call-in show. And so I'm going to waste no time getting this link set up in the chat. So I will pin that to the top of the live chat right now. Give me 1 second. Let me wait till the chat loads. And you guys should be seeing that in the chat, but I'll pin it. All right, it should be pinned. So as a reminder, let me go ahead and get my screen shared here. As a reminder, Hive, you will not be on camera. We will hear your voice. The first caller, we're going to just make sure the audio is all good to go. So before you get right to it, just give us a few seconds to make sure that all of the audio is equal. If this is by chance your first time tuning in, welcome to the Hive Mind. I'm your host, Birdie. I go live weeknights at 7 p.m. Central. This is a contrarian thinking live stream. We think past the headlines. We question the narratives. We ask the hard questions. And we are seeking justice and the truth in the Idaho 4 case. We have been busting our tails trying to make a dent into the narrative, into the lies, and bring the truth forward for this case. Backstage is already filling up. And as people are filling in backstage, let me go ahead and say what's up to everybody. Christina, how are you doing? Tinfoil hat on 26, Twisted Timo. It's the trauma. Thanks, Mom. UFO Dog, Think Twice. Charlie from Australia or Austria. Australia? Question marks. Put me in a pretzel with the she said I'm from Australia, but had a German accent. So now I don't know. Dylan Zawanka says, get right, cuh. Kate 538, thank you so much for the congratulations. What's up, Jenny and Sensen, NC Beard, Birdie, our badasses. Van Mendonca, Connie 21 Cab, Jetty Shortino, Glitter Party, UK Carrot, UFO Dog said, like Birdie's shirt, you can go ahead and grab one of these at the Hive merch store. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the back too. The mods crushed it. So not only do we have the anti-mainstream media club on the front, on the side, we got Hive. And then on the back, if you guys can see this, it says, well, you guys get the point. It's awesome. It's freaking sweet. It turned out great. If you know anything about making t-shirts, these are all comfort colors, so they're super high quality t-shirt. They will last forever in the wash. It's not like you only get one wash out of them. So those are live, and I think they turned out great. Now, tonight, when we are doing our call-ins, couple reminders. You could say whatever you want, okay? But let's be careful. We did get a ding on the channel 2 nights ago because we kept saying there was a word that started with an S that had to do with unaliving yourself. So let's avoid that tonight, please. You could say it in a different way. Let's just be careful. Same thing in the chat with what you type. Obviously, I don't want to have the live have any issues with that. I'd like to continue to be able to chat with you all, to continue to dive into that. So mods, please stay on that. Or if you all see something that maybe the mods miss, let them know to not do that or point it out to the mods so they can get rid of it in the chat. Now, we have a full backstage. First up, we have Boomer. How are you doing? Oh, you're on mute. Boomer? Okay, Boomer's on mute, but he's still backstage. Now let's do we got Shawley Redacted. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm doing well. Dylan's a wanker.
Dylan is a wanker. That is very true.
Let me just double check the audio real quick. Hive, can we get ones in the chat if everything is equal? And then Boomer, if you're hearing me now, you were on mute, man. So I will bring you up next after Shawley. Am I saying that right, Shawley? Hopefully.
Yep, you've got it right. It's all good.
Okay, so what do you got for us?
Well, first of all, on the back of Turvey's interview that I watched, I think it, as I said to you before, my thing is body language and learning, the patterns of people and stuff. And on the back of watching it, I'm even more sure now that he was behind the writing of Broken Plea. Having watched the way that he reacted to certain things and the way that he speaks, it's very much. I've had the pleasure now of listening to the audiobook of Broken Plea, read by Chris, thanks to one of the wonderful Hive members. And the way that it's read and written is exactly the way that Turvey speaks. Just my opinion, obviously, but yeah, it was very interesting, and I found that that Turvey interview extremely illuminating. Yeah, it was very, very good.
He did another one. He did another interview on Fox something podcast. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I didn't.
It was a little bit more structured, a little bit more formalized. Not that the custody queens weren't formalized, but it was more like mainstream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I will say, are you surprised to have that gut instinct when it comes to Turvey may have really wrote the book? I'm not that surprised. Like when you say that, it makes complete sense and it clicks. And I totally see what you're saying. It does sound exactly like how he talks.
I think that the way that Chris speaks about the book, there's almost a bit of, I don't want to put Chris down because he seems like a great guy, but it almost seems like there's a bit of confusion there, and I think there are certain things that if you'd written the book, you would absolutely know that he doesn't seem to know when being asked questions, but in the book seems to know. And it's very interesting. And yeah, I think that I don't know quite why, because at first I thought maybe it was that Turvey was sort of trying to get things out there without damaging his own career. But after watching him on Custody Queens, he's very, very open and honest. But it might have, having that ghostwriter aspect might have given him that confidence to be able to be more transparent on Custody Queens. I don't know.
I think it's a great point. And Shawley, I'm going to try to get as many calls in tonight. So I will let you finish with your final thoughts. But just for everybody, again, not that anybody's ever rushed, right? But I'd like to get to as many calls just like we did last time. It was awesome. So
definitely. I have two final thoughts. First of all, absolutely epic. Congratulations on 50,000. Very, very happy. Very happy. And secondly, it's not just Dylan that's a wanker in this case, let's be honest. But she is definitely a wanker.
Who else is a wanker? All of them?
In my opinion, yes. The frats, definitely. Obviously Santa. And
who's Dylan's right hand wanker? Who's Bethany. Dylan's second? Bethany. So Dylan's number one. Bethany's two.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night, Shawley. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, Hive, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring Boomer up. So if you're backstage, just know I'm not skipping you. Boomer was on mute, but he was first in line before Shawley. So now I'm going to go ahead and get Boomer on up. Boomer.
All right, can you hear me this time?
I can hear you this time.
All right, cool. So first off, congratulations on 50K. I know that's huge.
Yes.
I know that took some time. Sammy and I started watching you as kind of like an alternative to what we were already interested in the case. And now you were the main that we watch. So
love that. And I think you and Sammy bring great points. I think it's really cool too, how it's not just when I go on and I'm streaming and I'm live, I want you all to know I'm fully expecting to have comments and call-ins lead to future discussions. And also I'm learning from you, right? I mean, you guys have seen it. If I don't know something, I'll ask you all, but then how many times do you all connect the dots and finish my sentences or say it better? I think it's a really special thing. So that's awesome to hear, because I would reciprocate that right back to you all.
Well, with that being said, we have a new theory for you. But it's not a full new theory. This is just it's a few details.
Okay.
We believe that Xana was actually attacked by a female. So just the way that she fought, how much she fought even after being stabbed. Think about it this way. Even a small man, a small statured man, is still a man. If he was to hit her as hard as he could, he's going to completely incapacitate her.
I see your point.
She's gonna be down for the count. Now I know that now let's go ahead and air quote this and say Koberger did it, right? He's what, 6 foot, close to 200 pounds. Even with his dexterity issues, even with the visual snow, and I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say, but they want to say he's autistic, and there's a certain amount of strength that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
You can put those words together. If he was to hit her, especially with any kind of knife or anything in his hand working as an equalizer in his fist, she's going to have a shattered eye socket. Her jaw's going to be broken. There's going to be way more damage to her face just to incapacitate her going towards stabbing her.
Yep, I'm following.
So a female is actually going to be a fight. A female is not going to be able to hit as hard, right? And with the hair and Ethan's hand being longer, that leans more towards a female.
So now, okay. Well, I don't want to interrupt you. I'm following you.
That's pretty much where we're kind of headed with it. We're trying to figure out which female it is now.
See, that's okay. Somebody sent me an email, and I'm forgetting the email off the top of my head, but if you and Sammy have been tuned in the last couple of nights, which I believe that you have, or if, in general, if people have watched the streams, right? We're floating the theories out there that might be considered forbidden theories, right? Like, how dare you say that? But we've looked at almost everything besides a handful of them, right? So now you look at within that house. So you talk about a killer or a female killer. One of the things in general, if the killer is inside that house, the top two questions would be, was a female involved? And why are Dylan and Bethany alive?
Exactly. So you're not going to self-delete yourself. You know, if you're doing something like if your goal is to get away, you're going to concoct a story. Turvey said something on Custody Queens that made absolute sense. He said that when someone commits a crime like this, they don't want to be the ones that discover it.
Yep.
They call someone else. And that's the first thing they did, was call somebody else to be the eyes on the discovery.
Man. Yeah, it makes total sense. It goes back to just human instinct, right? Same thing that if it would have been Dylan or Bethany in that car that left for 4 minutes and came back, and if the police reports are confusing people, like what Whitcomb said, right? I know I understand the on-camera thing, but in general, if they got out of there 4:23, right after they say this all ends, were they thinking kind of almost in that same mindset you just said, where it's like, we got to go back, similar to, I can't find them, I have to call people over to find them.
Right. Because if you're left alive, so if that goes down, it gets discovered later by somebody else randomly coming over, now you become a suspect. But if you're there and you call somebody over to find it because you're scared to go upstairs, you're in shock or whatnot. Now you're they were looking for a way to absolve themselves. And nobody's talking about why Bill Thompson and MPD they completely ignored the grand jury's suggestion to investigate Bethany and Dylan.
Steve G in the text messages with Brad Norton. I don't know if you've ever gone through them on your own time. I've showed them a couple times on the stream, some of them. Steve G says the grand jury he says like some of the roommates created more questions than answers too.
Yeah. So if the grand jury, the ones that is put together to come out with these charges, with this indictment for Kohlberger, to even put the case, that's how the case gets started. So if that was part of the evidence that was presented and it created more questions than answers, then how was the indictment even pushed forward? Why was the investigation not turned to where? Because the grand jury is just your peers. It's random people that are pulled in, that they sit down and then they run the evidence in front of. There's no objections. There's nothing like that. It's just purely evidence. And they get to decide whether or not they reasonably believe that somebody could be convicted off that evidence.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the most frustrating things for me in this case. I've said this as well. Boomer, I'm going to put you backstage so we can keep on moving on. But thank you so much. I agree. I think that we need to think through the female killer as well because of the fight that Xana put up.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, congratulations on 50K.
Thank you. I hope you and Sammy have a great weekend.
Oh, yeah, and Sammy says happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. You guys rock. And I hope you guys have a great night.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Cheers. All righty. Next up. Well, real quick, let me just say this. To finish my point on what Boomer had said about how did this even proceed? How did this go through? Why did they ignore it? That's one of the things that's driving me up a wall. Not just that it hasn't been with this case, with the legal proceedings, but now I feel as if it's so obvious. It is so obvious, even to mainstream attorneys, that legally, even down to what Ann Taylor and how Ann Taylor attacked her own expert, Dr. Turvey, there are people that are out there saying, I would never have handled it that way as a defense expert, ever. So I think that it's rather obvious that something in the court system is completely awry. And when that's the case, well, then is anybody surprised that wrongful conviction has a higher probability of happening in general, not just in this case? And sometimes I think that we get so caught up in just, how are they not seeing it? They're seeing it. There's no way that they're not aware of it. You know what I mean? And so I just had to get that off my chest because it drives me crazy when it's like, they for sure know. It's not like we are the only people that know that there's a bunch of BS going on in the court system. I mean, they know for sure that there is. All right. Next up, we got David G. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Bertie. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. What do you got for us?
Hey, there's one aspect of this crime that I haven't heard anybody talk about.
All right.
There's been all kinds of discussion about geofencing and timing of and advance records on people's phones. But every cell phone, every smartphone has a global navigational satellite system GPS chip in it. And that chip is extremely accurate as far as your location goes. So law enforcement can geofence a certain geographical area, but the carriers don't have second-by-second GPS positioning. The manufacturer of your device does. And it's typically stored on your cloud indefinitely until you delete it or close your account.
Everywhere
So
you've ever
where,
gone?
what's that?
Like almost everywhere you've ever gone is stored in the cloud?
Yes.
Wow.
So where's the data from all the phones of all the people? Now, to get the information from the manufacturer of the device, they have to have a warrant. So you got to have probable cause. But if they do that geofencing and they clear, whoever you're left with, now you have to develop probable cause to go get that data. But where's all that data? Why don't they have it? Why haven't we seen it? It will tell you where everybody's phone was every second of the entire night, including what room inside buildings and the elevation that you're at. I think I remember either Whitcomb or the doctor, Turvey, saying, it was Whitcomb that said that Dylan went up 2 flights of stairs sometime that morning. How do they know that? They have her GPS data from the device manufacturer of her phone. So where's the rest of it?
I'm so glad you just said that. And the way that you phrased it just made something pop back into my head, which you go to the Dateline leak, and in the Dateline leak, they say the elevation change.
That's
So
right.
now that's actually two separate data points. Now that you just said that, David, it's you hear that in the Dateline with Xana, and now Chris, you're right, did say that with Dylan. It's obviously in the book Broken Plea.
And you don't get that. You don't get that from. It's called CSLI, cell site location information. You don't get elevation changes from those towers. You have to have the GPS chip on the phone, and you get the data from the manufacturer. So where is it all? They obviously have it. And so they would know where everybody was every second of the night and eliminate all this BS about where was Ethan, where was Xana, where was this, where was that. All goes away. They'll know exactly, and they know exactly right now.
Well, that's well said, David. I'm going to finish up with a question here for you. So I think that's, first of all, that's great information. And secondly, why don't you think they're doing that? Right? I mean, that's always that becomes the question. Why?
Because what it would show is not what they prosecuted.
Exactly.
It's not even close.
And you would think if that ever got exposed, I mean, that's criminal charges, no doubt about that. But to put it bluntly, the balls that takes for them to do in 2022, even through this whole trial, right? Or this whole, quote unquote trial, the whole court proceedings,
why didn't Cy Ray ever say anything about it? He knows.
Yeah, he knows. And I think Cy Ray got kind of blacklisted a little bit.
But he never talked about GPS data from the chipset on the phone, not tower data.
Yeah, you're right. And it is much more accurate, right? It's just you have to have the warrant for it.
It's extremely accurate.
Yeah. Well, David, that's a great point, man. You got anything else for us?
That's it. Love the show.
Appreciate you, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
You too, brother.
All right.
Fix it a light a fat one.
Yep. See ya. Oh, I freaking love the Hive. I love it. All right. Next up, we have Bus Diablo. Mr. Diablo, how are you doing?
What's good?
What do you got for us tonight?
Not a whole lot, besides just following up what Boomer was saying with the female possibility. I feel like that was a very good call in, and I just want to give my kudos to him because I think a lot of people think that this could have been a female, but I guess I do have something. So I really do think it's just a lot of corrupt people in that police force that we're investigating. And I don't even know if the word corrupt is good to describe it. It's more of just bad at really understanding what's going on. So
just bad police work.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like a lot of manipulation on the police nowadays. I mean, I just try to put myself in a cop's shoes sometimes and think about how hard that job would be if you knew somebody was guilty, but they're just lying to you the entire time. It's there's just no way you could just tell them hey, I know you're lying unless you have proof. So, I mean, even just a traffic stop, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, I caught you going 90 in a 40. It's no, I wasn't. It's but I literally caught you going 90 and a 40. No, that wasn't me. People are always just going to lie to get out of something. Right.
And I believe that once the law, right, you could say cops, the court system, whatever you want to apply to that. Once the law has you in its grips, it's not a quick process, right? I had heard this quote from one of my professors in college that had said, if you could stay out of two places for your entire life, the two places you want to avoid are the hospital and the court system. Because once you get into one of those two, it's very hard to get out of them because things move slow, things are expensive. And a lot of times they'll keep you coming back.
Exactly, especially with the hospital. They want you to stay there as long as possible.
Yep.
But, just real quick, just wanted to let you know, like, what I was thinking about earlier today before the show even popped up was just how I know, just from like having seen it with my own eyes, like a lot of girls do try to like scapegoat guys for some reason. And I'm not saying that's all of them, but it's like, they try to like, I saw this video, like these kids were jumping on a bed and then the girl broke the bed and immediately ran to her dad to tell her it was her little brother. Even though she broke it, she's just trying to get out of any trouble that she would get in from her dad. And it's like, is this just what we're seeing is like, this girl did this and then she's just immediately painting the picture that a guy did all this so that the cops would never suspect that it could be the person that they're actually talking to.
Yeah,
it's manipulation, you know what I mean? And it's you get the crying going, and I feel like that just makes the cops uncomfortable, so they're more likely to believe it, and they're like, oh well, if she's crying, then she's got to be telling the truth. It's just a tough situation. I mean, for everybody involved. I mean, RIP to the victims, man. It's just shitty that we don't have justice yet for this case. But I know every day we're getting closer with the Hive and this amazing community you got. And I mean, every time we replay that body cam footage of the cop talking to Dylan, there's a new question that we think about, like, why is she covering up her arm? Like, why is the cop not acting like she could possibly be the suspect? It's like, there's no thought in this cop's head that he could be talking to the suspect.
That's a very good point. And I appreciate the call, Bus Diablo. I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
All right, man. God bless.
Cheers. I want to segue off that just briefly about the whole male-female scapegoat thing. I would sum that up with this. And really, the only dynamic in this case that I'll say this, and this is just my opinion, many people have echoed it, but if Dylan and Bethany were guys, right? So if it was Dale and Brian, or not Brian, that's a terrible example of a name to use. If it was Dale and Bill, would they have been detained? Right? I mean, I know that Jack Decor was in the back of the cop car, but really, I mean, outside of that, they didn't separate anybody. I would just be curious more so what it would look like if it was two guys. Right. That's just, take that for what it is. I would just be curious if there would be as much leeway in the interviews and stuff. But then again, you watch the guys' interviews and they get just as much of a pass in softball questions. So more so just the beginning, like when they'd show up, when the cop showed up, I'd be curious to see that. All right, we got Lost Boys, who is next, but their device is not connected. So if Lost Boys is listening, you're going to have to pop out and pop in, and I will keep an eye out for that. I'm going to have to, unfortunately, kick from the studio for that. Next up, we got Gigi. Gigi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Birdie?
I'm doing great. We got you loud and clear. What do you got for us?
Perfect. So I was thinking what Turvey said about the hair in Ethan's hand. He said it was brown and longer or long. He didn't say opposed to short. And he said it was curly. The only one in that group that I can think of is his brother Hunter. He has the longer, curly, brown hair. I don't know, just to me, thinking about it in that friend group, who had that kind of hair. And he's actually the only one.
Yeah. So the hair, okay. I want to ask you a question, because I agree the hair is a massive deal, and I think that Turvey's made that, he's pushed that to the forefront.
He has pushed it, yes.
So that must be telling. My question is, so if it comes back to somebody, let's just throw whatever name you want. It could be Dylan, it could be Bethany, it could be Hunter.
Right.
Right. How do we interpret that? Like, how would you interpret that if you had the name? Are you assuming immediately that means they killed him? I mean, it's at the top of the list, but
what I'm thinking, well, maybe there was a fight between him and Xana, and they called Hunter over. Like, it kind of got to mass chaos. So let's just say Ethan and Xana were just going at it, and then the girls got home and they're trying to protect Xana, and then somebody calls Hunter to kind of calm things down, and then Ethan and him start fighting. The pushing, pulling, and the girls are all screaming, kind of chaotic, and something happens. Whether he went ahead and started like ODing, because I do believe that he was so pumped up on something. Just something happened, and so they got in a fight. He was trying to, push him off of Xana. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he did hurt Xana, and then the girls walked in and saw like all of that, and that say Hunter and the friend group was called. He's the only one in that circle that has longer brown, because Turvey was very specific. Longer brown curly. That's the only one that I can think of in that little circle that had that kind of hair.
Right.
And no one would think it would be Hunter. Like, they wouldn't ask him because that's his brother. Like, you wouldn't automatically go, "Oh, hey, did you have something to do with it?"
Well, and see, that's the part. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. And about the SUV.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. If you see the dude's car pull in, you got to ask him. It's unfortunate. It's uncomfortable. You have to clear the family. You have to clear the roommates. And I believe that I would give them an F, a literal failure for clearing them. Not even it's. I'd be so curious if you just had like a salt of the earth, like police chief trainer, right? If you're back at the academy and they were showing that, like, what would they critique? How hard would they chew somebody's ass out for that?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Completely. But if you put it together, and he was really kept on about the hair and the SUV, that those were important. And that is the only person that both of those would be connected, like, kind of, I think. Yeah. And then, I'm so sorry. And then secondly, so Brian, so I do feel that he was set up in whatever capacity he was set up. And you had asked the question yesterday about the K-bar. Why the K-bar knife? Because that's what Brian had ordered. I think they already knew they were going to set Brian up. And Brian had ordered that on Amazon months before. So it had to be the K-bar. That's why they keep pushing K-bar, because that's what he ordered. So when they come back and say, "Oh, it was Brian," hey, he ordered the K-bar, the one that the knife sheath that we found. It was Brian. That's it. That's because that's what Brian ordered months before. That's why it had to be the K-bar. That's why they keep pushing it.
So now, if we think back to the beginning, right? Okay, they took 3 or 4 days. They took 3 or 4 days to have a press conference,
right?
And that press conference, now I'm trying to remember Chief Fry when he's up there and he's reading a script. Does Chief Fry and Hive help me out? Does he? Yeah, I know he actually does say K-bar, because there's that lady that had kind of pretended to be a reporter that had said, "Do you think it could have been a female from the ROTC?" Do you guys remember that?
Right.
So he must have
I think they already knew. I think they already knew. They were going to, he was always going to be set up.
Yes, you're so right. And think about this. 4 days, 3 days. If you have something like this happen in your town, and it is a smaller police force, it's not something massive like the NYPD.
Right.
It's just, you have Pullman, you have Moscow. And when it's a smaller police force, the ability to organize is going to be so much easier when you're smaller. You have speed on your side for how do you enact certain things, who do you get put in what place, how are you going to do it? And you say that the reason why it's a K-bar and why they came out and said it kind of shed some light on, they must have known.
They did. They have to have. If it would have been, I don't know, knives, but a different brand knife, it would have been that knife sheath. That's why the knife sheath kept getting, put in different places. It was literally put there.
Well, and Dr. Turvey said they don't even know if a K-bar was used, though, too, at the same point.
Right. That's the point. Yep. But it wouldn't have mattered. They just needed something with the K-bar name, because they know, because he applied at Pullman. They've been watching him. They knew. He was always going to be the one set up. And so let me tell you, they can see what you're doing on your phone. They can see what I'm doing right now on my phone. They know his computer activity because I feel that they were watching him,
Yeah, I
setting
think
him
that
up.
it's
If
a
he would
great
have ordered something else, it would have been that sheath.
I
But
think it's a
they
great point.
That's just how I feel. I don't know. And the guy is right, David G. That with your phones, I watched the Kieran Reed trial with John O'Keefe. They knew when he got in the car, got out of the car. They knew how many steps he walked just by his phone, and when he turned it on, when he turned it off, that it was him and not someone else. They knew all of this. They knew every location of everybody in the house. They did do geofencing, but they had it all. And then they had Life 360. And I know that Ethan's mom or one of the moms said they had their kids on Life 360. So they would have known. They do know. The reason why are they keeping it secret about Ethan and Xana? They absolutely know where they were, and they absolutely know when they entered that home because their phones would have connected to their Wi-Fi. They know the second they pulled in that driveway and their phones connected. But
You
why
know
are they
what?
keeping it secret? Because something's not right. It's not the storyline.
Well, for sure. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
that's absolutely why. And thank you so much for the call, Gigi. I'm going to put you back
Thank you so
downstage.
much.
Yes, you have a great weekend.
Bye, Hive.
Cheers. That's a great call. You know what I will say is now you got to stretch a little bit mentally to think to yourself, wow, how would they have known that Brian would have had a K-bar? Is that how he got set up? Is there a possibility that Brian is fully knowing within a couple of days that or does he get approached after this happens? Do they have meetings? Do they ask him, do you have any edged weapons? Oh, I bought a K-bar back in, February in Pennsylvania, or my mom bought me it to have protection from bears, right? Like, I don't know. Would they ask him? Would they go that far? It's not even that simple of a thing to think about. You got to make it look real. Can you make up an order history in an operation? I mean, shit, they could fake a social security number. They can give you a fake passport, fake credit cards, fake identities to go undercover. You tell me they can't fake an Amazon purchase history thing? That's another possibility as well. And just so everybody knows, Jeff H. believes that Brian left the sheath and the hair just to throw off the investigators. Jeff H. is a wanker. All right, moving on. Shannon, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Bertie. Thank you. Hey, congratulations on the 50,000.
Thank you so much, Shannon. How are you doing today? Well, I already asked you that. What do you got for us tonight?
Okay, so I kind of I'm a little bit offended, and maybe it's just me. I am a Gen Xer, was raised total tomboy, was raised by a moonshining father from the hills of Tennessee. So I never fought girls. I always fought guys. They got on my nerves so bad that, that's who I fought. But you guys have to realize Xana was a gymnast. She was strong. Yeah, I believe that Dylan and Bethany had a hand in what happened, but to say that a female did that to Xana, I believe Xana could have probably took either one of the jacks out,
You bring up a good point. Because one thing that Turvey has said and Whitcomb has said, even Steve G has said, and it feels very authentic when you hear it, is that Xana put up a fight. What seemed to, right? Like, she put up a long fight. Have you heard the interviews where they're saying, she fought like hell? And so I think that could maybe allude to some people think it's a female. I wouldn't doubt if it started with a female and then a male came in and finished it. And that's the whole "it's okay, I'm going to help you" thing that Dylan may have heard. I don't know.
Right. That could possibly be. But that I was just like, well, because she's a female, they think a female did that to her. She was a strong girl. And in the things that I've seen about Xana, she was raised tomboyish also. So, she wasn't a girly girl, per se.
I see your point, because I agree. Because at the same time, we have to keep that in mind, because I've, lost my mind on Globe Media saying that Koberger walks like Frankenstein's awkward nephew. There's no way he can do this, right? So like we have to also remember, Xana being a gymnast, being athletic, we have to apply that same logic of thinking towards her defending herself. So it's a good point.
That is right. And also, I want to say that I believe that Koberger's family is totally interested in everything that's going on. And I believe that they're going to help their son. Whether it be hire a good lawyer, maybe a good lawyer has already got a hold of them and talked to them. Hey, I'll take your son's case, I just hope that BK, comes to his senses. I mean, he's got until September to speak up, to fire, Ann Taylor or something. I mean, something's got to do with.
I'm gonna do a poll here quick, and I'll let you answer and give your reasoning. But do you believe that Brian will? Do you believe that Brian will meet the September deadline? One for yes, so. 2 for no.
I hope so. I pray every night that he does, that he finally steps up, because if he doesn't speak for himself, how is anybody going to speak for him?
So it's either, unfortunately, there's only 3 things, right? I can't think. Well, I'm sure we could get into the weeds of it, but the 3 things are this. 1, he is choosing to do this for some reason. Either the grand jury stuff that we don't know about, that's sealed, there's some involvement that he's taking the fall for somebody he's not talking. I don't believe that, but right. But there's a possibility there's stuff that we don't know. I don't think that's the case, but it is something that could maybe explain why he's not saying anything. 2, he's being threatened. And 3, I guess I don't even know if there's a third one. Like, why would he be not talking?
Yeah, I would what I would want to believe is that him and his family's been threatened. And that's why he's so afraid to speak up, or he was so afraid to speak up. But now that this book and Dr. Turvey and now Ray coming out with some stuff too, if he only knew, maybe if he knew, he would finally step up and be like, okay, if everybody else is stepping up, I guess I can too.
Well, I appreciate the call, Shannon. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to respond to that last part quick. Thank you. Have a good one. To Shannon's last point of, I hope that he knows that that's a duty of the lawyer, I would think, to keep your client's mental health in check, right? If Ann Taylor is supposedly going to Dr. Turvey and trying to get Dr. Turvey to meet with Brian and just meet him, you're going to see he's innocent, right? Why is Ann not? I don't know. It's just the not talking. And if Brian's really not aware of this, that's another thing that's just confusing, right? Why wouldn't you be building him up and say, there's a lot of people behind you. You're going to be getting through this. You're going to come out better because of it. I know you didn't do it. Look at all these people that are, supporting you. Look at the tide changing in the narrative. I mean, put yourself in his shoes. If that's even possible to mentally go there, I'm sure that would be like a breath of fresh air to hear that, or to see that. Right. All righty. Next up, we have Jesse, AKA EMTW, and I can't see the rest of it.
It's EMT what?
Oh, EMT what? Nice. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, thank you. Good. Congratulations on the 50,000, but wait till it says 500,000 or a million. Everybody else that was out of the game for a while, read the book, they're all going to come join, and you're going to blow up like crazy.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And it's very exciting. And like I said, I'm glad to have, we have a great great community. So I know that we're going to continue to blow this thing
It's
wide
awesome.
open. What do you got for us?
Mine are just kind of a couple thoughts, like I said, of getting back into it and kind of how the doctor and Whitcomb have told us to really start from the beginning and just new eyes, which I feel like I've put on it, which the Hive has helped a whole lot on. But just two things. One thing is what may help people is my background is I was a paramedic for over 10 years and I was a 911 dispatcher. One thing I'm trying to figure out right now is if they are a certified 911 center, because the Australian German caller really opened my eyes with the missing call times. And the way the 911 system works is if they're emergency medical dispatchers, which is a certification on its own, just like an EMT or a firefighter, it's its own thing, but not every center has it. They read off of a set of cards and it's a script you stay on. And it tells you when to turn the cards to different pages for different questions. And that's kind of like where the defibrillator stuff comes in. That may or may not have been when she started. But I do think there's some of the 911 call missing. But that's just in reference to that. The next thing that has really clicked on me lately is the gunshot thing. But I know there was no gunshot. But one thing that is kind of starting to fit in the script for me is because from just a lot of your videos, I was thinking, what incapacitated Ethan? And if he was drugged, it would have been on the toxicology, and it wasn't there because the Ethan thing has always been big in my mind of why. But listening again to some of the calls and watching the videos again, and you hear that Bethany says she heard a pop and some like electrical sound, but Dylan didn't. The thing that fits there is, and Bethany describes it as a firecracker sound, which is loud, but not gun loud.
True.
What if it was a taser? And that would totally explain to how he fell like he did where he was at, and how he had stab wounds in the back. A lot of the other didn't have them from behind. Ethan had a couple from the back that I think, and a taser would pop, would make him fall down, and he would be in that position he was in on the bed, kind of like how his legs and arms were turned in, he was flat. If you watch somebody get tased, you hear the pop. It's real quick.
Yeah.
And then you see him go into that position, and it kind of explains the position on the bed he was in. And then after I got on that rabbit hole, I started thinking about, well, the DoorDash and everything else saying they saw the female upstairs, and Dylan was convinced that it was Kaylee and not Xana. I trust she does know their voices. So that would be a way if Kaylee did come upstairs and she did say somebody's here, if she saw him, what could she be threatened with that's not a gun? That taser. Maybe he got her back into the room quiet and didn't have to use it on them. He did what he wanted to do up there. But by the time he made it to Ethan, he had to use the taser. And then that would give Xana to put so much fight in. Just my thoughts, but that's the only thing that really fits all the way around.
Well, and you bring up you got a lot of people agreeing with you in the chat right now too, with the taser. Did you happen to catch any of Dr. Turvey's interview, or have you read Broken Plea?
I'm halfway through Broken Plea right now.
Okay. And
like I said, one chapter down, I started on your videos.
Okay. Well, so for those people that don't know, Dr. Turvey had referenced a couple of times, and in the book, or maybe not in the book, but maybe it was Chris Wickham. I know that I've heard this twice. Okay. And it was alluding to how do you get that type of control over somebody or over people?
A taser.
And, yeah, a taser. You have to have some sort of weapon that is extremely intimidating, right? Like if somebody's just holding a broom, like they're going to hit you with a broom, you're like, okay, you're not going to control somebody with that. But a taser, a firearm, like, right? It has to
and
be
it's
something
yellow and noticeable. They would recognize it right away. Pretty much anybody that watches a YouTube or TikTok video knows what they look like. They would know what they were up against as soon as they saw it. I would be quiet if somebody was pointing a taser at me.
The only thing on the taser thing or I guess the only thing with not even the taser, the only thing with Bethany's story is the spark that she said she heard under the door. But then they, both Turvey and Whitcomb talked about broken blinds and that if somebody drove by, that's what it could have been.
If you listen to the taser, it'll pop. And if you're close enough, within 10, 15 feet, you'll hear that, the clicking. Yeah. So
that's
maybe
true.
she heard that part and Bethany heard the pop. I don't know which part that Dylan woke up for.
Right. No,
because if you're close enough in the house at an echo, you would hear the clicking of the taser.
True. Very true. I mean, yeah, if you ever watch Cops, I mean, they go taser, taser, taser. I mean, you hear it no matter where the cameraman's at, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
well, I think those are all great points, Jesse. I appreciate the call in. I hope you have an awesome night.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night. I'm glad
cheers,
to
bro.
be here.
Peace. All righty. Next up. Ooh, I am excited for this caller. One of my favorite callers with how much passion she has. Bella Bishia, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Bertie. And congratulations on the 50,000. Like the previous caller, I feel like before you know it, you'll be up there in Kardashian land with 1 million subscribers. But I want to say something. I am reading the book.
Okay.
My wife actually bought it for me for Mother's Day. So I've been reading the book. But I watched the Turvey interview, and he made so many good points. And one of the best points that I feel that he made that I think that everybody should succumb to here on the Hive is we always refer to what Dylan said she heard or what Bethany heard. I don't think that anything that they say is credible.
Throw it out.
I think that could be a total narrative that they've made up. Throw it out, and let's just go from the last time anybody was seen to when the police came. However many hours that is. Some people say 8. I say it's probably closer to around 10. Okay, so 10 hours. And this is another thing that we never think about. We talk about they had all that time to clean. Yes, they did. But guess what else that time could have been harboring? People setting up this whole fiasco. People's parents calling officials, pulling in favors, the college calling in, pulling in favors. Because let me tell you something, that police force does not bring in any money, but the college does. And how do you think that police force is funded? Believe it or not, they're funded by the college.
Well, I totally believe that. I think what you just said about it's not only time to clean up, it's time to get things in place. What do you use to probably get into contact with people in 2022? I don't know, a cell phone? And is that why they don't release a lot of it? I mean, that would explain it when I say a simple cover up that's been made to look extremely complicated. It can't be extremely complicated right from the jump. You got to get things in place. And so maybe if they showed the cell phone.
And let me tell you who I think got the cover up started. Bethany. Because Dylan didn't call anybody. But Bethany called her father and then gave the lame excuse, I had a toothache. Well, you're raised by a dentist. You should know what to do with a toothache. You're a grown woman. You had to call your father. What was he going to do? Reach through the phone? No, she called her father so he could set up everything and get everything cleaned up legally. Get their stories together. He probably was like, y'all are going to have to clean up. And, and then another thing that I want to say about this whole situation that is really uncanny is Brian Kohlberger said she had exculpatory evidence that could save him that no one else would have, just her. And that's what the document said that went to the court trying to get her to come back to Idaho, which she never did. Okay, so what kind of exculpatory evidence could there be? It's not the hair. The hair is a whole nother story. The hair is whoever Ethan was fighting, and he did not get hit with a taser because you can't tase someone and they still fight and grab your hair and hold on to it. That was from fighting. He was fighting in that room, in that bed. Someone was on him. He grabbed him by the hair. He was trying to get traction, and he still got murdered. And Ann Taylor is such an ineffective assistance of counsel. It's crazy because Brady versus Maryland, and I know about that because, like I told you before, I did a lot of legal work. Brady versus Maryland is very simple. There's not anything hidden. It's if there is exculpatory evidence, the court has to share it with the attorney has to share it with her client. And everybody's always saying, well, he had to have done it because he's not talking. Does anybody know that when you have an attorney in a case like this, the first thing the attorney says is, I don't want you speaking to no one. Don't speak to the police inside the police station. Don't speak to your doctor. Don't speak to clergy. Even though clergy is not supposed to tell, your attorney's going to tell you, don't talk to nobody. And if he trusted her and she said, I don't want you talking to nobody, and she's not giving him the information, where's he going to get it from? There was a dismissal order. He couldn't talk to anyone. Nobody could talk to him about anything. And it is more than skeptical. She knew about the hair. She knew that she could file a motion to stop the whole proceedings because they wrote it in as debris, which is not hair. They
That's
went to
crazy.
all
They
kinds.
labeled it at that.
Yeah, they went to all kinds of labs to get the sheath because the sheath was there, so it had to be there during the murder. But you've got a man with hair in his hand, hair that can be traced to someone. We have DNA now, and they just didn't do anything with it. Like, oh, it's some debris. We're not worried about it. He just, he could have just been picking out the hairbrush when they killed him. No, they should have had that tested immediately. And they didn't. So he could literally, right now at this point, let me tell you, if he had an attorney that was filing an 1107 writ of habeas corpus, he could file on it as his rights were not met because of Brady versus Maryland. And then they're going to want them to say, well, what was the evidence that wasn't brought to him? The hair in the bed with Maddie and Kaylee. There's blood on a bracelet that was not tested. That's DNA. How many people have a bloody bracelet in their house along with 4 killed people? So, of course, that needed to be tested.
I agree.
I just feel like that the reason Ann Taylor did the things that she did was because that's what he didn't hire her. She was court appointed. So if you've already tampered the court, then the court is going to say, okay, Ann, first of all, she's a conflict of interest. She represented Maddie and Xana's mothers in more than one case. You can't tell me they didn't develop some type of relationship with their attorney during that time. And so she should have tried to excuse herself on the simple fact of, at the time they appointed her, she was actually still representing Xana's mother, Kara. But she didn't. And I just feel like she went through all, the motions to make it look like, oh, he's got this awesome attorney and blah, blah, blah. And the whole time she's just writing things off.
I agree. I agree. And Bellamisha, as always, fantastic call. I hope you have a great weekend.
I hope you do too. And happy birthday from us to you. And I hope this time next year you're talking about, I've got 500,000 followers.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Let's get through this Idaho 4 case first and blow this thing wide open.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks, Bellamisha. All right. To the people backstage, I had a message that somebody said it's 2 a.m. my time. Please bring me up next. And so that was Kelly Boo. So Kelly Boo, you are on stage. Thank you for staying up. How are you doing?
Oh, what's good? I can't believe this. Seriously, yeah, this is my first ever live. I've caught you. Oh my god. Oh, right. Where do I start?
Let's hear what you got.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Right, exactly. Where are you tuning in from?
Yeah, well, you just said at the start, if it was 2 blokes left in the house, they would have been arrested straight away. Yeah, I mean, 2 girls, they were treated like princesses. It was bizarre. Very, very bizarre. And
Mhm.
like I said, you've got to go back to the beginning. Who did you first think it was? And then think, well, what were they studying? Who did they know? It's not who the victims were. It's like who do you think it was?
Are you saying me specifically?
Yeah, who did you think it was?
I initially thought, well, when they showed Brian Koberger on the news, and I've said this before, I had this thought of him. So I guess I didn't. It
Exactly.
didn't register. I don't know if I really knew at that point,
But
right? I
then
mean,
there's Bruce Lee, so you don't know.
yeah, I
But
didn't
then
really
again,
know.
but I thought him.
Yeah, that's the
Do you
first
know
thought
what
I
I
had.
mean? I mean,
Um,
Ethan and him, but that guy with the taser, 100%. I mean, you could be up close with someone with a taser. They grab your hair, you're down. Do you know what I mean? That's really likely. I mean, drugs as well, and drugs, sex, young people,
jealousy.
and yo, yes, absolutely, and a dog. And congratulations on the 50K, by the way.
Oh, thank you so
Definitely.
much.
So
Thank
I've
you
got a
so
whole
much.
list of it. The Eric as well.
Gower.
Eric or Erica.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yep.
cab driver knows everything. Could
That's
Eric be Erica?
I've seen that comment a lot of times where people have said, "Is Erica just Eric Gower?"
Yeah, cab drivers don't. Xana's in a car with some other guy. She's cheating.
It's a great thought, right? Like you said, cab driver knows all. I
You
mean,
know, that's always the first they're up front. You don't think of the cab driver because they're just there, aren't they?
right?
But
No, that's true.
they see and hear everything. They're sober. They're driving. Chit chat. They know everything.
I agree with
So
that.
you know what I mean. So I don't know. But the Bethany thing's just weird. I mean, this is a quadruple murder. It's not a shoplifting thing. Every single bit of blood, anything should have been tested. It's a quadruple murder. It's a death penalty case.
Yeah, it's
What?
crazy.
None of it. I mean, and like also, what would he? I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
I can tell you.
saying,
I can
it
tell you this.
blows my mind. Nothing's complete. They give you half story.
Yeah, I mean, so you're tutored in from England, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah.
So now,
So Dylan is definitely a Tommy Tanker, not a wanker. A Tommy Tanker.
that's funny. I was gonna say,
That's
is
the
this?
London one.
I am curious for anybody that is outside of the states, which I know we have a number of people that are. Is the book Broken Plea and is Dr. Turvey hitting your guys' news over there, or are you just getting it from
July.
American?
We get it in July. I've pre-ordered
Oh,
it,
that's
and
right.
I'm listening to it on YouTube, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Seriously, but this is crazy. I just don't understand. No way was it one person. It's but no matter how tough a girl is, one punch should be down by 99% of guys. Definitely, definitely. But I don't know. I don't like that they could have been in there all day. You don't know how
Right.
long they've been in there.
I
Do you know what I
agree with
mean?
that.
All
Yeah.
day. All day, even the night before. Who knows? Just chilling. And then one by one. Because there's a lot of noise at different times. And that 999 call, there's definitely a missing minute there. Definitely.
I'm glad that people are taking
That's
that and running with it.
and that Austrian woman, she has a podcast. She's amazing. My God, the things she got me thinking. Seriously, she's got me thinking. I'm rearranging my book now because I'm going to write a book about it.
Wow,
It's
wow, that's awesome.
seriously crazy. And now I've got a phone call.
Oh, you're getting a phone call? Okay. Well, I can't hear you anymore. So I hope you have a great night, Kelly Boo. Thank you so much for the call. That's That's a first. That's a first. And that was a started hearing the ringtone maybe before you guys did. I kind of saw she had her camera on. I kind of saw her freaking out. She's like, I'm getting a phone call. Oh man. All right. Next up, we got Scooby.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. 1 second. Let me get the mic a little bit adjusted here for you. And all right, you are all good to go.
All right, I got a couple things here. One of them is look at all the people around the victims and all the plea deals that happen periphery to the Koberger case with everybody else.
Okay.
There were what 4 or 5 of them, all within a week. Kaylee's mom, or one of their moms, one of their got plea deals.
Yep. Oh shoot, we lost you, man. Your audio's gone.
And they were. Lost you, man. Oh.
Damn. It looks like he's driving. Hey, Scooby, if you can hear me, drop out, and then come back. Okay. Sometimes that fixes it. And I'll keep an eye for you. All right. Next up, we got, let's see, okie dokie. Lisa, how are you doing?
Oh, shit. Oh.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
Hey.
Hi, how are you
I
doing?
was not ready for that.
Oh, well,
Hey.
everybody heard you not ready for it, so that's
Oh,
funny.
shit. I was running across the yard.
You're good. You're good. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, okay. Okay, Brian Cover. You remember I asked the other night, last night, night before, how do we know if he really is autistic? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, we're going off of obviously what they've said in the media. We're going off of the psychological testing that they were trying to do in the emails that we've seen. I believe that was when Josh Hurwitz came onto the scene that they really started having their experts come in. And was Ann going to be allowed to sit in there? Or how was Brian going to be questioned?
Okay. Oh, all right. When I didn't know who the doctor was, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. But anyways, okay, this deal with NIJ, the CJIS, all of that stuff, and all this funding, and he was going for the PhD. He was already on like all this investigation stuff. He was one of the top 4 students. He did all that, and then he got picked. So, in his papers that he said that he wanted to be inside the prisons to be, to all of that. Okay.
Yep.
How do we know that he doesn't already know that this is just all in the plan? He already knows that what's going on, that he is not really in prison, that he's not really being taken down. This is just all part of the plan of it to do all the other, take down the other people.
Well, so okie dokie, Lisa, I've seen your name in the chat for a while now, so I know you've been following this case, right?
And happy 50,000. And yes, I've been following you since TikTok.
I love that. Thank you so much. It's always great when people are like, I came over to YouTube when you got banned on TikTok. And so I appreciate you sticking with the Hive. You talked about the paper that Brian Koberger had wrote. So for people that don't know, real quick, 20-second Cliff Note version. Brian Koberger was writing papers for his criminology degree, right? And in one of his drafts, there was a note that was left by the professor, whoever was grading it, that said, this is an interesting idea. Option 1 is better than option 2. Clearly, yada, yada, yada. And that part that they talked about was Brian conducting semi-formal interviews within some sort of jail, prison. I forget the exact word he used. So we've shown that on the stream that exists. Now you look back at some of the reports and you would say, what are the chances that Farley just so happens to come into contact with Brian, and Farley just so happens to be talking to Brian Koberger about how much he loves baseball and the Yankees. And then we see on the DMV video, Brian talking about Aaron Judge and the Yankees, right? So it's like, what are the chances that he goes and is in prison, talks to a guy who's got a lot of charges that gets wiped, being Farley? A lot of people have said they swear they hear Farley's name. Is anybody following me on that? Like, it's kind of exactly almost what his paper said is what I'm getting at.
I'm following. I don't see the chat because I'm on my phone. I mean, I see it in little bitty, but I don't.
Yeah, but so you know what I'm saying?
I do. I'm just wondering if he is just going along with the plan that he already knows that he was going to say, hey, or like that, hey, we're going to do this. And that you're going to be in for, we're going to do this, this, and this, and you're going to be in there for some time, maybe even for protection, but until we get such and such done, because he did find, like, he came across a lot of stuff that he probably wasn't supposed to.
That's a theory too that a lot of people have said, why Brian? Why does he get picked? Right? I mean, I've tried to piece it together from the funding side of stuff, but there's also a lot of people that said just him being involved with that criminology. We know that lab that they have has access to all of it, and we know that he's passed that background test because he's applying, and we see Dr. David Makin's emails with the police chief saying all of these people have been Chief Jenkins saying all these people have been, they've met or exceeded the qualifications needed, which that would be passing that background test, the background check,
and beyond, even
and beyond.
more. Yeah. So
right.
That's why I'm wondering if he already kind of knew, like, if this wasn't even a surprise to him, like it was already in the details of what he was for this job, specifically for Idaho. I mean, to come from Pennsylvania all the way to Idaho to Moscow during all this. I mean, to be study or whatever, to be surveilling.
Yeah, man, it's so crazy. And so, do you believe Brian Koberger's a Fed or undercover?
I think for all of the background, that the expertise that he had, and for some reason that he was that, I mean, not too many people have that. I don't even know what the words that I'm trying to say. I mean, that's a lot to be on that high of level. That's almost like top secret stuff, like level, like security.
I see what you're saying. Like his qualifications, his
like that is
his
like
clearance.
That's it. That, like, his clearance to even
Yes.
get that far.
I agree with you.
To have that, that's almost military, like, clearance, like top
I agree.
secret.
It doesn't feel natural either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't feel natural.
Not. And me coming from a military family, and my brother being like top clearance, like all of that, even more, that just seems like pretty big.
Your brother has top level security clearance?
Yes.
Tell me more. Would he
I
ever?
can't.
Honestly?
I can't.
We will mask his voice. We will get him set up with a VPN.
But no, I mean, like, he's all into the UFO stuff right now.
Perfect.
So,
we'll have him on if he ever changes his mind. He wants to
yeah,
blow
no,
the
but
whistle.
I can't blow anything else. But anyways, but no, this is like more clearance than what a grad student would ever have.
Right. Is he even in prison? too at that point.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And for him to even like, I think it would have to be in the detail in the work that of course, we're not getting.
Right. I agree. Well, thank you for the call. I'm sorry I caught you off guard.
It's all right.
All right. You have
I
a
didn't
good
know how
weekend.
far down the line. Yes, you. Happy birthday yesterday, and congratulations on the 50,000.
Thank you, Lisa. Have a good one.
All right. Peace out.
Bye. All right. I see Scooby's back. So let's hope that Scooby's audio is good now. So, Scooby.
Yeah.
It sounds like you are in a tunnel.
I'm in a rainstorm.
You're in a rainstorm. That makes sense.
60 miles an hour down the highway in a rainstorm.
So what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to be quiet. I'll let you make your point. And that way we can hear you because it seems like it goes in and out when I talk. So I'm just going to be quiet. You go ahead. Go for it.
All right. I was saying there were a bunch of plea deals that came out right around the same time that were people that were periphery to victims. One question I got, why all these charges dropped all of a sudden for these people? That's number one. Number two, I worked in corrections. And did somebody get to him at Ada County and threaten him, his family, whoever? Make this deal shut up and be a good boy. Or something bad's going to happen. Because everybody has said that the plea, that Kohlberger's plea, was right now. And Christopher, when he was talking, he said Kohlberger knew every detail about this case inside and out. Turvey went the other direction with it. So where are we at there?
That's a great point.
And who made, I don't know this answer, but somebody needs to check it out. I'm on the road. I ain't got time. Who made a donation to the police department in Moscow, sheriff re-election fund, a judge re-election fund, right around the same time this was all going down? We know that in this group there was some money. So who made the donation that made everything fall the way it fell?
Well, that's a great question. We got to follow the money. And Scooby, I'm going to put you downstage or backstage. When you see the call in next time and you're not driving 60 miles an hour on a radio in a rainstorm, I'm sure we're going to be able to hear you better. I think you got some great points. And so I do think it'd be interesting to look into the funding, but make sure you call back in, man, because I want to pick your brain on that some more. Drive safe. Cheers. All righty. Somebody said he sounds like he keeps flushing the toilet. And I don't know if you saw me smirk. I'm like, oh, I can't laugh because I got to focus. This guy's driving. I don't want to distract him. If that was the storm, if that was thunder, I mean, that's a crazy rainstorm, but man, I don't know. That definitely sounded like he had some bad reception. All right. We got Edie Redman up next. Edie, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Birdie?
I'm doing great. What do you got for us this evening, Edie?
Well, when they bagged all of the evidence, like as far as the bodies go, and they tagged everything, like they even like wrapped up a hand and they would write hand and like everything they found that was part of their. I hate to be so graphic, but okay, they say that Kaylee's teeth were knocked out, but they never bagged Kaylee's teeth. Okay, I'm getting to a point.
You're good. I'm following you.
Okay. So, you know, they talked about that they still don't know like the weapon or whatever that was used to make those marks on either side of her face. And do you remember the crazy interview detectives where the I think it was like somebody from ABC or something, and she kept asking them questions about it, and then towards the end it was like, so we'll probably never know what weapon was used for that, and they're like, yep. You remember
Oh, that
that?
was so uncomfortable. It's like when you get it's like that secondhand embarrassment, which is one of my least favorite feelings to feel. I don't know if you've all felt that, but it's just like, oh, okay. And then it just keeps getting more awkward. And it's like, this is so uncomfortable for me too. And I'm just sitting here.
Well, I got to I've been thinking, and I mean, I've heard somebody say this maybe once or twice, but I really started thinking about it after I saw like all the stuff that they bagged and tagged and everything, and then the fact that there was some of her blood um, along like the rails of the stairway and in different places more so than anybody else. And then you hear on one of those 1112 audio things, and at one point, I know you know what I'm talking about, where the guy is like, "Stop, stop, stop, stop." Okay, I think that she got curb stomped on the steps, and that's how she got the marks, and that's how she got her teeth knocked out, and that's how some of her blood got on some of the stairs, the stairwell, or the handles, or the sides, or wherever. I know that's an awful, awful thought, but
I mean, we're talking about a quadruple murder here where people are, I mean, she's unrecognizable, right? I mean, yeah, it's very graphic.
and they cleaned up, so they would have cleaned up whatever pieces of her teeth, and that's why they weren't there, like in the bed, and got bagged and stuff.
You know, so I think that again, the theorizing of it is like, as far as what happened, I always go back and forth with how are we going to know the little intricate details? Unfortunately, I don't know that we're ever going to know. I don't know if anybody's going to know exactly what happened within that house leading to the murders. Like every little area that they went to, did they crash into this? Did that get thrown at them? How did
Well,
you know what I mean?
I get that. I really do. I mean, and even Turby said that the other night, you know, that we're focusing on the wrong things. But the reason that I say it is because after like listening to somebody going through Dylan's diary and then looking at those pictures that Dylan drew, and like just the fact that she's lied and lied and lied, I think that she's kind of a psychopath. And I think that she was part of this. Might not have been part of like the part with Ethan and Xana, but I think she had something going with Kaylee, and she had some kind of hate thing. I think it stems from that Halloween night when they embarrassed her so.
I mean, Edie, like I said, I mean, the theories that you say, as far as like what I'm taking away from it is you're looking for a lot of the, like, what is the trigger that gets somebody to snap, right? So embarrassment, jealousy, quote unquote, love triangles, interpersonal relationships, because it seems as if this violence, it has to be explained by something very personal.
Exactly.
Right. So I get why you're asking that and why you're saying that. I just don't know how we're gonna ever know. You know what I mean?
Well, we may never, but that was just it's just been on my mind, and I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because I mean, that has been talked about quite a bit about the marks,
Hmm.
on either side of her mouth. Like, and they say she wasn't gagged, and it wasn't from that; it was from something else, and I'm like, that would make perfect sense to me.
I agree because they did make the marks on the face a big point. And Edie, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for the call.
Thank you, Birdie.
Peace. You know, I do wonder, have we, dang, I should have asked Edie her thoughts on this. So, with the marks on the face, could those be the signature wounds? Does that make sense? I mean, could the marks on the face, like the lines, like, and if you think back to the interview that Edie was talking about with the detectives and it becoming kind of awkward, I'd like to hear somebody's thoughts on that. Could the lines on Kaylee's face really have just been a different way to describe the signature wounds that is mentioned in Broken Plea from that Kaylee and Maddie had matching wounds? Maybe. All righty. Next up, we have Lost Boys. Lost Boys, how are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear. What do you got for us this evening?
Okay, well, I guess I'll talk about that. I live in Spokane, so I'm an hour north
Okay.
of so I'm right in it. We just lost 3 police officers, or they resigned for pulling people over and then giving, they were trading stuff. So then they didn't write the tickets because they got something else. So that just went down.
Wait. Hang on, back up. So you're saying that they were being bribed?
Yeah, so they would not write the ticket to the girls if the women / girls did things.
I got you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's so it's still happening. Like, whatever these cops, like, being horrible police officers, like, all that still has not changed 3 years later, which is horrible, right? But with these universities over here, it's coup country. Everything, you are a cougar, or you're a grizzly from Montana. So if it's Halloween night and you're out trick-or-treating, you see a Montana state flag, you see a cougar flag, Boise, or Gonzaga Bulldogs. If you know basketball, this is home of basketball. Idaho, no one goes there. So if this would have been an in-house event, they would have been done. And if Pav is right, and this has to do with the white, the WS group, which I do think Maddie was, can we say curb stomped? I mean,
Maddie or Kaylee?
Or Kaylee, sorry. I do. I think that those guys were involved. And that's another thing. If they came into that house, Idaho would be done again, because they just can't have that reputation again of being the state in the United States that's known for that. Like, they're having such a hard time recovering just from the 80s.
You bring up an interesting point, and I saw somebody make a comment. I want to say that the username had 420 in it or chaos in it. Somebody said that the curb stop is a signature move of WS groups. And I think back to, what's that movie? Is it American X? Yes.
Yeah. Malcolm. Yeah.
I think it's American X.
Yes.
Or American. You guys know what I'm talking about if you've seen it.
Yes.
Somebody get the name. That's a freaking brutal scene, dude, at the end of a curb stop.
It 100%. Great movie though. and so I wanted to call in because in our family we had a quadruple incident with 2 nieces. And I'll just go over that.
Sorry.
I'll just go over that really quick because I'll get too sad. But that night that it happened, and it took 48 hours for the police to get there, and they did a welfare check. When they walked in and the 4 victims were in the house, and they called my sister, and we all cried, and all the emotions that come along with it. It took about 6 weeks for my sister to see a report. And they never told my sister. And my sister was a foster mom. And when she saw the report, The dad, who was the worst, I'm trying not to say too much, but he was the one that ended everything. He had 2 gunshot wounds. One was in his leg, the other one was in his head. So
Like
they never told.
self-inflicted?
Yes, because he was the last one.
Oh, wow.
My nieces went. And then the birth mom is the next one. But what had happened, the whole point of what I'm trying to say, sorry, is that she must have come into the room and caught him when he was deleting them. And there was a struggle, and that's how she ended her life. And my point is that police officers don't always care. Sometimes they just have to wrap up the scene and everyone's already gone, and why does it matter? But to my sister and to her sister and like the grandparents, it did matter. It mattered, like, that their daughter put up a fight. And it wasn't, it just does matter. And I wish sometimes that police officers knew this and spent a little bit more time investigating that scene. And that's a shame.
It is a shame. I'm very sorry for your family's loss. And I think one thing that I will completely echo, and it's not just with police officers, it's any profession where you're doing something that's rather traumatic time and time again. I know we have EMTs in here. I'm sure there's people that are doctors or lawyers. And, I've talked about how my father passed away from cancer. There was times that when I would go to the doctor's office, I mean, how many times has this doctor delivered this news this week? And it's just, it comes off, and it's not on purpose, right? But but it matters to feel like, the person that's investigating something or giving you this horrific news, you don't want it to feel like they're just doing their job. You want them to do their job well, but I think part of doing your job well is making people feel cared about and like this matters to them,
Yes. And
So.
one thing that I think is the point of this case, what I think is so important, and if we could figure it out, if I was a police officer, I would just dig in, is I think Brian is in the white car. And I think Brian was taking his time to find a parking spot and didn't care that he was on film. Or let's say it's not him, whoever that driver is. They were taking their time to park the car, didn't care. They're on film for a while. And then they park, and then at 4:21, I think it is, they speed off. And I think, and to me, the sound and the film match up when that car speeds off, and the driver of that car seems very scared. Whatever they saw, they seemed very scared. And I do think it's Brian, and I think he signed up for something that was over his head, and he knew it, and he bailed. He tried to bail.
Well, that is an interesting take, and I'm going to respond to that, but I'm going to put you backstage. Thank
Okay.
you so much, Lost Boys. I hope you have a fantastic night.
You as well.
Cheers. Bye-bye. To that point, I think, right, people will say, well, it's not Brian Koberger's car. Let's take my takeaway from what Lost Boys just said, and any callers backstage, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too. If you feel the need to comment on it or want to, feel free. She brings up a great point. It didn't seem like this was predatory behavior. I mean, you're doing a 3-point turn, you're doing a U-turn, you're circling around, and then you speed off. If you're looking for parking, it doesn't matter who's in that car. It doesn't matter what car it is at this point, right? Or for this example, meaning, what if that person saw something, was like, holy, I got to get out of here, right? Like, were they going to park there? Were they trying to find parking? And then did they see something? And they're like, nah, I'm getting out of here. I mean, that was my takeaway. I think that's a valid point, because I agree. That car doesn't look suspicious. It's taking its time way too much, in my opinion. Or if it is very, it is very terrible. Sorry, hang on. What does this comment say? Sorry about last night with Sammy and you, but just saying, it's Mrs. Birdie needs a respect, but I shouldn't have said anything. I definitely know nothing's happening to you. Oh, thank you, Monty. I will read that one again in a second. I saw Mrs. Birdie's name and I wanted to make sure. I'm like, what? Anyways, lost my train of thought. The white car, I've never thought was anybody that could have been participating in the crime. Okay, moving on. Next up, we have Becky 003, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, Bertie. How are you?
I'm doing great. What do you got for us this evening?
I have some things that I wanted to kind of go over. And this is totally my opinion. I have 7 law enforcement people in my family. I've my ex-husband also was a 20-year retired law enforcement sergeant. And I also graduated in our community citizens police academy. So I know a lot of things about, how things go. I've had training on crime scenes, calls, traffic stops, all that. So I know how things roll in most departments. But my point is, when the officer got there and there was so many people standing outside, they should have separated them and treated everybody as suspects. That was the first oddity to me. The second one was Dylan. When her interview came out, it was very sketchy. I didn't believe her at all. And
Can I dig into that a little bit?
Yes.
So with your experience, why did it stand out to you?
Because that's just kind of the norm that most police departments require. I mean, you don't just take somebody at face value and say, "Oh, okay, I believe you."
Oh, okay. So you're saying just the lack of drilling down.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And some of that could have been inexperience, but still they had people above them that knew the procedures. And I don't think procedures was followed.
I don't think so either.
Also, with Bethany later stating in her interview that she doesn't talk to Dylan anymore. To me, if something that traumatic had happened, you would think it would bring them 2 girls closer than anybody.
Not just them, the families.
Exactly.
Families.
They are all separated.
I'm glad you said that. And so you've obviously, how the departments work. You've been around it. I think there's a lot of people where I don't think that that's a rude thing to say. I think that most people would assume, especially with how close Kaylee and Maddie were, right? With how highly the G family talks about. I mean, you're not hearing anything from Maddie's parents really either, even from just those 2.
Right. Right. I also think that the car that they kept showing, I was on your live the other night when you kept showing, the car coming by and looping it or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I noticed that when the undercover officers got the kids, across the road, they stopped them that night. They were in a Ford Fusion Silver, correct?
Right.
Okay, I drive that same car, or I don't know about the year, but it looked pretty much just like mine. My car sounds like that's on the video, and it's just got a different sound to it for some reason, and it looks like it. And if those officers were in that area, to me, it looked like that car instead of a white car.
Yes,
that's just my opinion. And if they were going around trying to catch DUIs and people out, just like they did those kids, then they're going to go around that whole campus, and that they're just going to keep continually driving down those roads, driving through those houses. That's what they do when they're on assignments like that. They stay in that area. So that kind of was odd to me.
Well, and that's a great point. I mean, yes, is suspect vehicle 1 the undercover cop cars? Yes. And so you brought up something at the end there that you said assignment. For people that, and even myself, I'm curious to hear what you say. What do you mean by assignment, right? They're going to stay in that area.
Okay.
Are they assigned to a street? Are they assigned to an apartment complex? How does that typically work?
No, well, in my husband's department, what they did was, like if they come in on special assignments, since they were having a game that night, it would be a good thing to, they knew that there would be people possibly driving around, doing the wrong thing. And so they would have these people come in on like overtime or whatever, extra assignments, to come in and patrol these areas and try to make those arrests, like they would if they're trying like around bars or bar areas and things that would produce some action throughout that. And that would be their assignment, was to go around and try to find the people that were breaking the law. And so that's my opinion about that car. To me, it looked like their car, which, they can't say that was definitely BK's car. They can't say he was in it. So that kind of is here nor there. I don't think that should have been even put in there. But my next thing was, I think both Jack's interviews were sketchy, to say the least. And there's a lot of things that we've discussed throughout all these lives about why. I think everybody kind of has that opinion. And then I didn't like that the chief of WSU, or whoever he was, a Pullman, whatever, when he did that interview about Brian, interview with him and him not getting the job, and him saying what he did, to me, around this department, they wouldn't have said that. That guy wouldn't have said that. He should have said, it's an ongoing investigation. I can't respond to that. And I thought that was odd.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
he didn't say that. He put it to a way that, Brian was odd or different. So they didn't choose him. Well, how do we know that?
It's exactly what they would say if they did. Right.
Right.
Like whether that was the truth or he got hired. I mean, that's what you're going to say. And how he's told not to comment on that.
Right. And I believe that if that guy was really truthful about it, he would, and there's nothing nefarious, he would have stated, hey, it's an ongoing investigation. I can't comment on it. Because that's what they always tell you.
Right.
Ongoing investigation, we can't talk.
That is one of my least favorite words when I hear that on TV.
Yes. I think also in the ISP investigator, he had said, I think it was in the Jack Showalter interview, the first one when he was at his house, something about the politicians want this closed. The case, they want it closed.
Who said that?
Well, the ISP officer that was interviewing Jack Showalter at his house.
Oh, yes. I remember.
And I think the university also wanted it closed because of the decline in admissions that it would show later on,
Yeah.
If they don't get somebody in jail and say, oh, there's no problems here, go on, then, like I said, money talks, suspects walk.
I love that quote, and I appreciate the call. Becky C003. Is that it, or is it Becky Q3?
Becky C.
Becky C003. Fantastic call, and I hope you have an awesome weekend.
Okay, I have one more point.
Oh,
if I
go for it.
could.
Yep.
Also in the book, it says that Ann Taylor told Brian, all his all the things that she had got together, and she told him all the information so he could make up his mind what his, if he should take the plea. But I don't believe that she did, because didn't they have a data dump a few days before the plea?
Yes.
Okay, well, she didn't have any reports about it. She wouldn't have had time to go through all that to give it to him to let him make a decision. It just doesn't seem right.
Well,
and the first thing a lawyer does, if you notice in a trial, especially like that, is they say, I don't care whether you're guilty or not, but you have to tell me the whole truth or I can't defend you.
Right.
And I thought that was odd that I mean, we're just taking her word that she doesn't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're taking everybody's word that they don't
Right.
know. It just the court system dynamic, or just the legal system dynamic with Ann Taylor it's so strange, and I'm not sure how to interpret it. I don't know how what it's doing could lead us closer to the truth. It seems like it's, other than Brian's completely railroaded or Brian's undercover, I don't know any other direction as to how could something be this bad. I'm always looking for an explanation of how could it be done this poorly.
Right. Well, not only that, in there, somebody says in that same paragraph, that they took him a tour of the prison to show him what, where he would be and whatever. And she denies that and says, no, one of her other lawyers in her office and a mitigation expert toured the prison. And then they come back and told Brian what to expect. Well, who does that? You say prison is a shithole, and you take your chances.
Yeah,
They're
you're going
not
on a
going to
field trip.
baby him.
Right.
I thought that was odd. I thought that was very odd.
I thought it was very odd too. And Becky, thank you so much for the call. Great points. You have an awesome weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, the book used this analogy of it was like a child debating if they were going to go on a roller coaster with Brian taking this plea. All right, moving on. We got a handful of calls. We got a full backstage, and let's see who we got next. We got Mika or Mika.
Hi, it's Micah.
Micah. Sorry. Geez, I went like 0 for 5 there. My bad. Micah, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. What do you got for us this evening?
So I've been thinking about a few different things. One about the call or about the show last night. Talking about how Ethan may have been involved or self-exited or anything like that. Didn't Chris Whitcomb talk about how his body was staged, like they covered his body, whoever did it?
Yes, he was found covered up. Yes.
Okay. So I don't feel like that would have happened if, like how would he do that to himself and then cover himself up? So, I don't know. I just thought that didn't really work together. But also the Banfield incident with the two kids and the plaid and everything. I saw that they were that happened like nearby the house, and it was around the time that it happened. So could they have been like a lookout or something?
Are you talking about the kids or the cops?
The cops in the white car.
I believe that they were on assignment. I mean, if they say they're looking for underage drinkers, I could see that, but I do believe that they were, just even the fact that Steve G's talking about how they were giving minors in possession and they were literally filming the house when these kids were getting killed is a quote from Steve G. So I look at stuff sometimes through the lens of, in addition to all of the coincidences that we see within the walls of 1122, to your point, what are the chances that those cops are plainclothes police officers in a car that looks very similar to the car we see looping on the 1112, and it, you know what I mean? And they don't hear
Yeah.
anything, they don't see anything. The Banfield runners too run right by them.
Yeah, I just thought that that was so weird. I can't remember where I saw it, but I think someone said that they think that the cops were involved somehow, and that kind of backs that theory, especially, you know, with everything else that went on with the cops screwing up the crime scene and everything. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to call in and talk about how Ethan was covered up, and, you know, I thought it was an interesting theory, but I think it was someone who did get outside the house, or multiple people. But yeah, that's all I have.
Well, I'll give you something to rack your brain on before you go. With
Okay.
the, as far as the covering up part, the only thing that I could think of would lend to, which it doesn't explain Xana, because everybody was covered up but Xana, right?
Mhm.
So my thought was, if Hunter came over, did Hunter cover Ethan? That was one of the only things that I could think.
Yeah.
I don't know, but again,
Yeah.
it's a great point. I don't know if I necessarily believe that theory. It's just, you know, it's worth thinking through it. I appreciate the call for you where you say, or when you were saying how, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because how would he have covered himself up? It's a valid point, right? I mean, I don't know if that's what happened, where he self-exited.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And I love hearing all these different takes and theories. I hope one day we do get to find out what really happened. And I love hearing everybody's ideas and stuff. So, but yeah, thanks for racking my brain on that. I guess it makes sense that his friend might cover him up. But yeah, I felt like I had something else I was going to say, but I can't remember, and I don't want to hold you up. So I'll
Oh,
catch you
no
next
worries.
time.
Yes, you have a great night, Micah. Thank you so
All right,
much.
you too. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye-bye. All righty. We have Lil Bit. How are you doing? You are on mute, and you are now up on and they're gone. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab Kelly is the man for backstage. Kelly, how are you doing?
Hey, Birdie, what's going on?
What do you got for us this evening?
I told Luna last night that on the Take Me Home Country Roads that you hear on the recording, that is an anthem for Delta Tau Delta, because John Denver was a Delta Tau Delta.
Was he really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes.
That's a great connection, because now that would maybe lead you to believe.
And John
yeah.
and Showalter. And somebody else, I've looked and I can't find it, but I know that Kaylee was dating or hanging out with another Delta, the president, right, of the Deltas.
And they were, that is one thing that they got asked about a decent amount, where you could kind of tell the cops were trying to maybe go back to the glory days of talking about what does the frat house at St. Kai look like now. And like, you know, was there drama in between the frat houses? So, okay, yeah. I'm following you.
So I went and looked that up, because something about that bothers me, because, you know, you get the scream in between them singing that. I was in a fraternity. I was an Alpha Tau Omega back in the 80s. So I kind of know how all that, the Greek system works for sure.
Well, can I pick your brain on a couple things that, because I wasn't in Greek life. I was an athlete, and the Greek life in the Midwest is not huge. It's not like how it is in other parts of the country.
Yeah, I'm in the South, so it's really big down here.
Oh yeah. Yes. I sometimes wonder if I would have had more fun in college, like going down south and just being in a fraternity instead of.
Oh, I know you would.
Yeah. So
I mean, I have 50,000 students in one college, and, you know, University of Alabama's fraternity houses and sorority houses are incredible. Just blow your mind, incredible.
It is on my bucket list to go to an SEC game this season with
University
Mr.
of Alabama. stadium is incredible.
Yeah, I can't wait. And so one of the questions that I wanted to ask you about that is, so a lot of people talk about this brotherhood dynamic. Okay, now I want you to talk as realistically and as close to you being back in your 20s and in that mindset when you're in the frat house. If you heard a rumor or if you found out that maybe one of your fraternal brothers killed people, I mean, are you riding for them on that? Are you gonna do you keep that close to the vest still? Is there a line that ever's like, that's too much?
It's no. Everything what goes on in the house stays in the house.
Jesus. And again, I've never been in Greek life, so I don't know. It's just crazy to hear that.
Omega, and we were known as the Milk and Cookie Boys because we were good boys. And then Sigma Chi's, they were kind of wild. When I went to Rush, I did Rush. I went to Sigma Chi and the Alpha Tau Omega and some other fraternities, but the Sigma Chi was the most fun as far as the party went, because I know me and this girl got pushed down a staircase in a wheelchair. So and that's the kind of parties we had there.
It's like some Project X stuff if you've ever seen that movie.
It was really crazy, but a lot of fun. But you did have that friction between houses for sure.
So last question that I have for you then. So with the John Denver connection to the Country Roads Take Me Home, brilliant find, by the way. And
to go.
Are you alluding to that it was most likely members of that frat house?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay. Just double checking. And now, do you think that was a chant like taunting? Do you think that was them drunk walking home? I mean, what does your gut tell you on that?
It just, every time I hear that, it makes my skin crawl.
Okay.
Because it's the scream, because you can hear it on both Linda Lane and the 1112, the next door camera. You can hear it on both. Which something about that just seems wrong. It doesn't seem fun or party like. It seems taunting.
Okay. Yeah, you're not alone in that thought. Like I said, and that's where I've seen you tune it in, and I see your name in the chat. You know that I've been open about how hard it is for me to wrap my head around it. But again, I also never experienced that. Right.
Right.
So that could be the reason why. But Kelly, that's a fantastic point. You got the GOAT award. And I don't know if anybody's ever connected that John Denver was a Delt, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Thank you so much for the call, and I hope you have a great weekend.
You too, Birdie.
Cheers. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Kelly is the man. Sounds like he had a lot of fun down south, doesn't he? Does anybody else just feel like they could tell through their voice? Like the wheelchair story was probably a tame story, in my opinion. All right. Next up, we got Anna D. How are you doing?
Hello.
I got you loud and clear. What do you got for us tonight?
So have you heard about Murdoch getting a new trial?
I have.
And did you listen to his one of his lawyers interview with Angela Levy?
I did not listen to the interview. No.
So I had watched it before I came on to see your live, and he had said something where about the due process that Murdoch, I can't say his name correctly. His rights were violated, and then he said that this whole country, the judges, the prosecutors, lawyers, I'm not sure if he says any.
It was jury tampering?
Yep, with the jury tampering, but there's a lot of violations throughout the country with the judges and the prosecutors and everyone else violating these people's due process rights. So it just clicked in my mind. I mean, maybe he watched Ryan's sentencing
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I want to know, how can people watch the Murdoch case and be like, oh my God, or people watch the Karen Reed case and go, oh my God, or people watch any other case. And then it comes to the Brian Koberger case. And it's like, they just lose any ability to think
Right.
in any way. Like even the people that are just normal, everyday people, not even just news hosts.
Yes.
I don't
Everybody's
get it.
saying he's guilty, and where's the evidence?
There's no evidence at all. And so I got to catch up on that. You said it was Angela. It was Levy who did that interview.
Yes, I think it's. I don't know what Crime Fix.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Anything else you got for us?
No. Well, one more thing, and I don't know. I might get in trouble for saying this, but it's just my thinking is that you know, what if, because we know that Kaylee and Maddie were the ones targeted. What happens if it was, not even gonna say her name, a long lost sister
Oh, geez.
that has daddy issues and is maybe jealous that somebody has a dad and she doesn't. If you
I'm
catching
picking
on
up what
what?
you're putting. Yeah, I'm picking up on what you're saying. I mean, again, I think that goes back to kind of what I was saying to Edie earlier in the call-in show, which is so many people just, they know this had to have been so personal
Yes.
to attack people like this, and what could cause so much of an emotional rise.
Right.
So I mean, that's my takeaway. Is I agree with you on that. There must have been some sort of just this emotional rise where you see red and you black out. You don't care.
Yes, and I don't even want to say her name because I feel
Yeah,
bad for
I
her,
wouldn't.
you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But I appreciate the call, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night.
You too, and congratulations and happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Anna. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All righty. Let's see. I'm going to look back. Okay. Lil Bit is back. Lil Bit, we got you now?
Hi.
Sorry about that earlier. It was on mute. And then I saw you pop off. So we got you back. We got you loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, happy belated birthday and congratulations on your 50.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so I just wanted to make a couple comments because, when you're listening to people and you just so badly want to get your thoughts into.
Yep.
So some of this is going to be over the week. But you know how they claim they don't know where Ethan and Santa's whereabouts were?
Yep.
Up to whatever. But they knew everything about Brian.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat. So I just thought I'm going to throw that out there. And the knife sheath, okay, they said only no one, why a K-bar? Well, I know the fraternity was doing some stuff with K-bars and, the school in general. And yeah, they have the, what is it, OTC, whatever it is.
The ROTC.
Thank you. But I think the reason why it was a sheath and not a knife, for one, that was left, is because no one is willing to give up their knife. They're like, okay, I can give up my sheath and we can plant that, but I'm not giving up my knife.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, take the sheath. Just take the sheath.
Yeah,
don't take my knife. I need my knife. I still use my knife. It's a nice knife.
I think the weapon was going to be whatever they could find and get their hands on. And I think that's why it took a little bit of time to plant that, the evidence there too, or the sheath there.
Well, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then, okay. Do you remember how Xana's dad said that she called him at midnight? I don't hear anybody saying that.
So I've tried to dive into that. That was with the whole Domino's delivery driver. If it was Molly's son, you look at what Xana's dad did comment. Okay, Xana's dad did comment that he was drinking, and if he wouldn't have been, he would have been there, and they would have had to deal with him. So there is, sometimes with this case, what I run into personally, consuming stuff about it all day, every day, right? Preparing for the stream is it's like information overload. And so there are times that I'm trying to think back and I'm like, when did he say that? And I don't believe that that was said with any of the police. I think that that was said in his sentencing, right? His
I
victim
heard it
impact statements.
real early on. It was him and his other daughter, and they were. I think it was a news station or something because I mean, well, maybe not like a local news station, but I saw him and her talking, and they were like at a bench. They were outside somewhere, a restaurant or something. And he said, and the daughter was standing next to him, and he said, she called at midnight, said Ethan had gotten into a fight, but they were home now. Everything was okay. They were going to eat some pizza and stay in and watch a movie.
And a lot of people have said, no, that's from the night before. And what I don't understand, but here's what I don't understand. Why would he bring up the night before? And you could say, well, it's the last time he talked to her. Okay, but then why does he follow up and say they would have had to deal with me if I wasn't drinking? So I've always tended to believe that he is talking about Saturday night.
I think he is too, because Friday night he was down there with Janet because it was parent weekend.
Right.
And then he was standing at WS with his other daughter. Because she goes there, Xana's
That's
sister.
how I remember it too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that, and then let's see, Brian. Oh, yeah, Brian probably has been threatened and with the family. The toxicology report. Look, I got some notes here. Toxicology report. Didn't they even say there was not alcohol in their systems as well?
In the beginning? Or no, because we have their blood alcohol levels.
Okay, so there was. Okay.
Yep.
And then how was Ethan laying? I guess I missed that part. I thought Chris said he was laying looking up on his back.
Well, his head was between the bed and the wall, from what we've been told.
Okay. And
but
then,
Turvey said that the blood ran down his arm, the hair was in his hand, and the blood had dried to the bed frame. And so and this is the interview too, which, by the way, this is the Crime and Justice with Donna Rotuno. That's the other interview that he did. He says something so crazy that I'm going to play at the end of this stream here. That I don't know what to make of it, but he alludes to that the families, everybody was, he could have misspoke, but he said the judge put the gag order in so that the families didn't disseminate any information, but all of the families were disseminating it to Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah, I heard that.
Why would he say Pennsylvania?
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it was a slip up because, I mean, nothing. I don't know. I would say it wasn't a slip up. Yeah, I don't think he accidentally said it.
And then Maddie's dad, was it Maddie or Xana's dad? One of their fathers, I think it was Maddie's dad, said made a difference at Penn State. And Brian's from Pennsylvania. And Kopaka ties to Pennsylvania. I'm like, what's going on with Pennsylvania here?
Yeah. You know what? There's some theories. I have some theories with all that. But, I mean, I won't get into it now. But.
Well, next time we have a call-in show, yes, please do.
Yeah. Now, the taser thing, look, I think tasers will probably scare anybody, but I don't think a taser was going to scare anybody to stay put that night. And I don't think so because the way they were killed, or, you know, the wounds, they were coming with a gun if they were going to have something, I think, to scare anybody. Machetes, guns, whatever. But, I mean, taser could have been there, but I just don't think that's what they were going to have to use to control them. I think they were going to have to control them with more.
It had to have been something intimidating that would make you listen.
Yeah.
That's, I know that much at least. But I appreciate the call, and I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, little bit. Thank you so much for popping back in.
Well, thank you. You too.
Cheers. Bye-bye. All righty. I have taken the link down. We still have a full backstage. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab Beth. IBTU is now up. How are you doing?
Hey, Birdie.
Is it Beth? Is it Beth IBTU?
Yes.
Beth
No. So my name is Beth.
Okay.
My license plate when I turned 16, I got Beth IBTU trying to be silly. Yeah. So
Hilarious. What do you got for us tonight?
Hey, oh man, I have so much. Okay, let's see. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so my first thing was the 911 and the cleanup. That was the first red flag for me. Um, God, I have so many notes. They're not in order.
That's okay. That's okay. Pick one.
So that was a big red flag. And then gosh, just the silence of everybody. Think of the people. So 4 people were killed, and think of how many people were standing outside when, when the police first got there. All of these people haven't said anything to any friends, and nobody's talking about this. Like, that's insane.
That is insane. And what seems to, we brought this up last night, the lack of what seems to be authentic emotion. And I hate having to defend the point, and it's probably just because I feel like I'm saying it till I'm blue in the face, of understanding people grieve differently. But everybody in this case grieves the same way. There is no
Right?
difference really between anybody grieving. They're all grieving the same way. They're all asked these
Absolutely.
questions in the same way. So,
human nature, when something like that happens, even if you're not involved, you're going to be crying about it. Even the neighbors that didn't even know them would be crying to know that something like that happened. It would be devastating to everybody in the area. There's like nothing. Nothing. I
there's
mean, and
nothing.
nothing. Let me see what else. Okay, so and I think he's undercover. If this case, I don't even know if I really believe the case anymore because it's so much. Like every time they release stuff, it just gets more crazy. It should get more clear, not more crazy. So that's why I don't
Facts.
really
Yes.
believe it really happened. I mean, I don't feel right saying that if 4 people really did lose their lives. But the absurdity level on this case, come on, like it's insane. The house,
It is.
yeah, okay, the house being tore down, like why? What was the point in that? What's there now? What did you need to tear it down so badly for? Um, let's see. The time frames of 227 and 420. Like which one was it? Was it 227
Right.
or was it 420?
Two separate events, two timelines. It's been a question that a lot of people have had.
Absolutely.
Not cleared up at all.
The number of redactions, the how about the books and the movies that have been produced before, like they hadn't even had a trial yet. Like that's insane. How can you write books and movies on something you know nothing about?
That's a great question. And what did you think about the whole comment about Dr. Turvey kind of using Chris Whitcomb as the author just as a vehicle?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I do
I
too. I
don't
think that
really
was a great
believe in,
point.
I mean, I believe maybe there's some truth to some things they say, but I just think it's kind of like the other book, While Idaho is Sleeping. I read maybe 4 pages of that book and I just shut it. I haven't even looked at it since. Like I know it already started off the book and you could tell it was full of crap. So like I have no reason to read more crap. Like you see that on TV every day. And
Right.
think of people like you, Bertie, and all of us. We've all been here. I watched it when Brian Enton was there, and he was on scene, and he announced it. I was sitting there waiting for the Murdoch thing to start, and Brian come on and announced that, and I was like, oh my god, like 4 people? How does that happen? Nothing's been clear at all since then. Nothing, like nothing.
I agree. And I think you bring up some fantastic points, Beth, and I hope you have a awesome weekend.
Thank you.
Yep. Cheers. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. So I see that Mary Jane Oatman has been dropping some links in the backstage chat. So I'm curious to see what that's about. So Mary, you are now on stage. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been missing the Hive, having a little bit of withdrawals because I've been super busy.
Well, we're happy to have you tonight.
I actually dropped these links in a couple of nights ago during one of the shows because I'm in this very similar situation of like it's like a puzzle where the edges are just not connecting, but I see the puzzle and it's just been really I think just kind of even taking a small break from the Hive, being so busy with work and looking at some things from different angles. But this creation of the grant timeline that you laid out, to me also connected with this cadet program that Moscow Police Department launched in August of 2022. So earlier when one of the callers said, the kids are the cops, and I'm thinking, or the kid cops,
Genius thought,
the kid
honestly.
cops. Because in my mind, I can't wrap my mind around why everybody would be going so far out of their way to cover something up unless it implicated law enforcement directly.
I'm
And the
so glad you
university's
said that.
negligence.
You know,
Yeah.
sorry, I just want to comment on that. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just going to say, I'm glad you said the thing about the implicating of law enforcement, because myself included, that's a huge motive as well. I mean, it's one of the biggest and most common motives that you see when it comes to a cover up is you don't want to, the cops don't want to be implicated. And I think in this one, it's hard to sometimes keep that in mind with how much weird stuff with the university goes on.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, I'm from this region. Like everything's just kind of connected. I graduated and got my undergrad in justice studies at Lewis Clark State College, which is in Lewiston, the little cross border town next to where they have Brian on tape going into the Costco, the Albertsons, the Kate's coffee shop, that whole area, and took classes with a former Moscow Police Department officer who is no longer alive, but he was one of the founders of the Department of Homeland Security. Post 9/11, they reached deep into academia, and him and another professor that we went to school there, that I took classes with, we had special classes, think tanks, by these two professors that were creating a task force that later became the Department of Homeland Security. So I know that the
Wow.
reach for this region it's not conspiracy theory kind of shit. I mean,
Right.
I know these people. And then I go back to this Moscow City Council link, and um I shared that one as well on their 420 Moscow City Council meeting, where their Moscow City police chief is giving their state of the 2025 address, basically, or their year end. And they went out of their way to give their evidence clerk an award for and it's going to be at I think about 41, 46. I wish I could remember the time when he starts to speak, but there's just kind of like a little bit of joking back and forth going on about as they do the introduction of the police chief, and then they have a very small discussion about the case. They really, really skirt around it. But they talk about their budgets, and they talk about the things that they had anticipated but didn't happen because the trial didn't happen.
And okay, so what I'm gonna do is, and hi for everybody backstage, I'm gonna let this be the last call for tonight because I have a ton of super chats as well that I want to read, and I think that playing this clip will that will be a good call to finish out. So you said 41-46.
Oh, I think it's about 41, 46. If you kind of
Okay.
just like slide along, there's you can see when the police chief gets up there to start giving his report.
At the podium thing?
Yeah, at the podium.
Oh, right
Oh,
here.
there
There
he
he
is.
is.
Yeah, there he
Okay.
is.
You were close. It was,
Item number 6
can you guys hear that real quick? Did you just hear her talk a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
on our agenda is Moscow Police Department annual report with Chief Antony Antoni. Let me try this.
Oh my God! What a
Chief Dollinger.
This
Let's
place
just
is a mess.
Keep it really formal. Chief, welcome.
They can't get anybody's names
Hello.
right.
Get this pulled up here real quick. All right. Well, good evening, Mayor, Council. Thanks for having me this evening to go through 2025 as a bit of a recap. I think hopefully all of you got the flip book the online flip book to go through. Obviously, this isn't going to be comprehensive. It'll be a little shorter than that document, but we'll go through it, and feel free if you have any questions as I speak. I'd shoot them off. So can't see it too well from here, but this is just our organization chart showing our different divisions. Just for the public here, if you're not aware, Moscow Police Department has 3 different divisions within it. The first is operations, which is our patrol division. Then we've got our services division, which is basically anything that's not patrol. So we're talking investigations, parking, code enforcement, records, property, all of those services that help support the rest of the department. And then our campus division, as we contract with the university, we have a campus division up there working closely with them. This was our command staff again this year. So obviously myself and then the 3 captains who directly oversee those 3 different divisions. So for staffing, began the year with 28 sworn officers of the 33 budgeted. Still have the 2 officer positions unfortunately held back. And then unfortunately we were a net gain of 0 for last year. We ended with 28 sworn. And at the time we had 2 in training and 2 undergoing background investigation. So it just seems to be this continual perpetual thing, but we're working through it. And I think we're going to see some improvement, and we already have this year. But those are just a couple of the vacant specialty positions we've had to hold open. One of our general detective positions, the narcotics detective, and our traffic officer. So a couple of staff recognitions, and I hate to be long-winded, but I think these should be read out loud. So on December 20th, 2025, Corporal Aaron Morris and Officer Jeremiah Laney responded to a report of a fentanyl overdose. Upon arrival, Corporal Morris found a lifeless individual who was not breathing. Without hesitation, Corporal Morris began chest compressions and continued until Officer Laney arrived. Officer Laney quickly prepared and attached the AED to the individual, while Corporal Morris continued CPR until paramedics arrived and took over life-saving responsibilities. During this critical incident, Corporal Morris asked about the number of Narcan administrations previously administered and successfully determined the next course of action. This individual was hospitalized and released after many days. So that was a wonderful bit of heroism on their part. I have another one here for you. On February 6, 2025, again, Officer Jeremiah Laney, Officer Frank Fuchs, and Officer Chris Snevey responded to an unconscious individual. Officer Laney arrived first and began CPR. Officer Fuchs and Snevey.
Mary, not that I don't want to listen to this whole thing, because I do. It's very interesting. I'd be curious to see, do they have a visual for when they're going to talk about the case, or does he just glance over it when he talks about a cop, or how?
He's going to just kind of glance over it when he talks about the award to the evidence technician.
Okay. And so is that coming up?
It's really not that much longer, I swear.
Okay.
I know it's not like
no worries.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let that play then.
Moments later, with Fuchs obtaining and applying the AED and Snevey cutting away the patient's shirt. Officer Snevey then provided breaths using a bag valve mask. Officer Laney continued chest compressions until paramedics arrived and took over. The patient was later transferred to St. Joseph Regional Medical Center in Lewiston and arrived in stable condition. Medical personnel stated that the officers, without a doubt, saved the patient's life with their extremely quick response. So very good work from our officers. And these life-saving awards, we've been trying to be more diligent about honoring them within a certain time frame versus waiting till the end of the year. So they've already received their awards at other ceremonies. Some other recognitions this year. Every year, the police department asks all of our personnel to nominate people from within so that we can be recognized. One from the sworn side of the house, as we call it, the officers, and then one from our services division. So this year, Officer Snevey was the recipient of that award, and he was recognized for his strong commitment to public safety and representing himself in the department professionally. He himself handled 668 calls for service last year alone, and he took 52 intoxicated drivers off our streets. That's extremely impressive. Just for example, in 2025, 9,000 people died due to impaired driving. So these are those things that our officers do every day that we don't know the lasting impacts and potential lives saved, but it is needing to be noted and recognized. And that's also why he got the top DUI award as well. And then Tim Smaldridge, who is our property and evidence coordinator, the most organized person I've ever met in my entire life. He was recognized for just that. His continued efforts to find ways to improve find efficiencies within our evidence and property is amazing. And this year was showcased by the preparation for what we thought was going to be a long homicide trial. So unfortunately, a lot of that work that Tim did, no one will ever get to know, except for us in the house. But we wanted to recognize him for that great work.
That part, Bertie.
Yeah, I mean, geez, so he still got an award for it. I mean, I could see it's a lot of work. He just said he's very that was very short-winded.
So there's another announcement, and I would just really encourage the Hive to maybe pop over and view that city council video in its entirety for that city council report, because he also makes an announcement about a detective leaving for a promotion. I think it's Detective Brent Payne.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of announcements that are made on there, but I think for me it just kind of goes back to, the bang, the flash, the light, this theory about a gun, and if it was a service weapon that was used, they would have all fucking reason why to cover something like that up. And then we go back to like this whole other genetic genealogy play, the FBI, this crossover, Idaho. I mean, I live here, folks. I mean, like, please don't give Idaho too bad of a rap. I mean, yes,
It seems
there's a lot
pretty
of
rough.
strange
I'm not gonna
corruption,
lie.
but yes, it is. And there's other counties where things are far worse than what's going on in the city council. But I do I think that there are other layers and rationale as to why something like this would be covered up, and then why the families would be involved. And what gets, the hair standing up on the back of my neck is actually hearing in some of these videos, the body cam videos, where they're talking about these cadets. I don't know if you guys have you hear them talking about these cadets in a few different body cam videos throughout the course of this investigation. And I think that it goes back to, and I know what they do with undercover. So for them to use these undercover frat kids, to run these drugs, and for them to be laced with fentanyl, and then be like, oh my gosh, the law enforcement are setting these kids up to kill other kids, basically.
I mean, well, there is that part on Snyder's body cam where you overhear the she's a CI whispered, or it seems to be that is. And what was another one? Is there any other ones that you could think of off the top of your head?
The only other thing that, like I said, connects back to this is the Caden Young death over in Seattle, and then Emma and the whole drug trail, and them chasing her all over the place, trying to figure out where are they sourcing these drugs from, because it goes back to all of them connected to the Quad City Drug Task Force, and the multi-agency work that they do with this drug trafficking, which goes back to Homeland Security.
Wow. I like how you just that was well done to circle that all back and finish with Homeland Security on that. I always appreciate when people send in links. And if you're in our Discord, or if you're not, birdieshivemind@gmail.com. If you find anything else where you're saying that they could be
I'm
talking
embarrassed.
about.
I
What's
signed
that?
up for the Discord, but I don't really know how to use it. I'm trying. I'll try to drop some links in there. But I downloaded the app, and I'm in the
Okay.
Discord, but I'm super busy. As y'all heard, the administration has put forth the effort to reschedule cannabis, and that's the world that I work in. So I've been back in Washington D.C. all week for a huge coalition of cannabis advocacy groups, kind of just stomping the hill. So I've been very, very busy, but missing the Hive.
Well, it was great to have you tonight. That was a great call. Thank you for taking some time to send that link over and explain all that. And best of luck with your cannabis adventure. And I hope that even though you're busy, you take some time to still tune in.
Oh, absolutely. My
Okay.
sister is definitely always still watching, and she'll watch, and then she's like, you got to watch that show. I'm like, I already watched it. And so I kind of have my own little, Nez Perce Reservation Birdie fan club thing going on here.
Oh,
And we
that's
follow the case, and we see it from different angles, and from the different people that are doing the, you know, the 90-foot, or excuse me, the 30,000 square foot view of this case. And it is important. And I really wish that other people would see the importance of it from the protection of like civil rights and basic human rights. If at least anything, I don't look at this from any kind of conspiracy theorist mindset necessarily, because I've seen a lot of. I mean, I used to work in law enforcement, and I'm not there for a very specific reason.
Well, so you just said the Des Pierce thing. Was your sister called in a couple weeks ago, right?
No,
Is
I
that?
called in.
Oh, that was
That was me.
you.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. No, so yeah,
Oh,
no, I'm a former law enforcement officer. I used to work for
oh,
my
that was you.
tribe.
Was your
Yeah,
name
yeah.
different or no?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well,
Maybe I don't know. I don't think my sister called in. She never told me she called in.
no, I could have, because now that you said Nez Pierce, I remember you had a fantastic call. If that was you, but I could have swore your name, it must
Yeah,
have
no,
said
that's
something
me.
different. Okay.
I think so.
Well, thank you again for back-to-back great calls, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
You as well. Happy late birthday.
Thank you. Cheers. Hive, do not go anywhere. Okay. I have very exciting news. Okay. That's arguably just breaking right now. So myself and the mods, we have not been huge on the FOIA front. But as of today, we have received the FOIA request of the test runs that they have done driving suspect vehicle 1. And so I have a short clip, and in celebration of the 50,000 subscribers, Monday night, now that we officially hit it, we actually hit it very quickly. We had like 300 or something last night to still go. And I said, well, we're going to hit it tomorrow or today, Saturday, Sunday. But on Monday, I'm going to be giving away $500 to celebrate 50,000 subscribers. We're going to be showing the FOIA request. And so you have to be live. You have to be in the live. You don't have to be a Hive Plus member, but you have to be in the live to win the either $300 cash, $150 cash, or $50 cash prize. And I'm very excited to get back to everybody that I think it's going to be sick to watch this FOIA request. So I'm uploading this small clip now, and give me 2 seconds because I just got it texted to me from Luna. So I have not watched this yet either. Oh, I'm excited, Hive. Wow. And just, it looks, oh, this is going to be great. And then I got the super chats. I'm not going to forget about that. This is awesome. Okay. So it's at 97%. Come on. Yes. So this is, I have not seen this yet. Luna, how much is, or not how much, how long is this? This is only a 2-minute clip. How long is the full request? So Hive, I'm reacting to this with you live as well here. Let me get this all set up so that it is easily visible on the screen here. And it's in color, which is crazy. All right, that is centered. Is there volume on it? We'll see. I'll turn it up. All righty. It's about an hour. Nice. All right. Let's watch this bad boy. Let me take all of this stuff off the screen here. Or let me take the comments down. What a night. 50K subscribers and our FOIA request came through. 2-minute clip. Don't miss Monday night. We got an hour of this, and I will be giving away $500. That's going to be freaking sweet stream. Wait. I'm going to turn it all the way up. I already hear the water running noise. So this is where they went and they did test runs of the route that they suspected that suspect vehicle 1 did. Couple things that I noticed right away. The light coming through right where above Luna's name here, the light that shined through, that's very interesting to me. I've not ever seen that on 1112 before. I have never seen this crystal clearly. You could absolutely make out that car so much better. I'm also noticing this angle or this now I understand that it could have maybe shifted, but it doesn't show as far to the left. So we can't see the flashes on the house when they go up behind King Road, but it seems like on the right side here, we can see much more. So I don't know if that's when they reinstalled it, if they did it differently, but shout out to the mods for getting out of this. This is the test run with the undercover vehicle. I'm going to play this one more time. First things first, it sounds the same. It sounds the exact same. Wow. I mean, I can't wait to do a side-by-side comparison. You guys know I'm going to be all over that and overlaying it. Before it shows up, I have said, would anybody be surprised if they did these test runs and then they've been overlaying the test runs into the original footage from that night? Seriously, I've showed you how easy that is to do, where you remove the background and you overlay a background removed video of the car. It's going to look like crap. You probably put a black and white filter on it. This is color. It's color. Wow. You put a black and white filter on it because you're going to hide the imperfections and the impurities, and you're going to turn down the contrast, and you're going to turn down the brightness on it. I'm sorry to keep stopping it. I know I'm driving some people crazy doing that. Guys, you even hear the click. You hear the freaking click that you hear in the 1112 originally. listen for the click right as the car pulls in. So now it's not going to be perfectly in sync with this because I'm quickly, grabbing this, but let's just watch the first two entries because I know that those are. This is so sick. I'm just going to play that one more time. It's the same car. It's the same car. Mods are goated for getting on that. I mean, seriously, that's a standing ovation for the mods. I mean, that's going to be freaking sweet. So Monday night, I'm going to premiere that and give away $500. The Hive will have a night on Monday. That's going to be one for the books. So shout out to the mods. I really mean it when I say I got the best mods on YouTube. I could not be doing this without them. They are great. And let's go through some of these super chats. We have not done almost a 3-hour stream in a long time, so I apologize if people are sleepy, but it's Friday night. There's no bedtime, and I think Mrs. Birdie's already asleep, so I can do whatever I want. Scouse House Girl, thank you for changing the name. Said, this is just to let you know. Birdie, firstly, well done. 50,000. You deserve it. And I changed my name just for you. So proud of you and the Hive family. Thank you so much, Scouse House, not only for the kind words, but for changing your name so that I don't have to say Scoose and Scoozy Girl every other time that I see it. Thank you. Halo Art, welcome to Hive Plus. Kathy, welcome to Hive Plus. Cindy, welcome to Hive Plus. Thoughts Loading in Shock Face has been a Hive Plus member for a month and said everyone should have been suspects until thoroughly cleared, but you can't do that if you're covering it up. Facts. Amen to that. Not as dumb as you look. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Sammy said, we have it on good authority that Brian Koberger's family is paying close attention. If they so happen to realize power of attorney could help a lot and people are prison savvy. I have heard that this was a while ago. Somebody had posted in the Discord that Brian's sister has tuned in. So I'm not sure if anybody watches. I know that I would not be surprised if there are people watching that are, involved in this case. And yeah, I'm curious if this has woken them up to anything, right? We've flipped over every stone and looked at everything possible. Some awesome, some terrible. But that's what I believe is the way to figure this out is you have to go through everything. You have to ask the questions. You have to look at everything. Not as dumb as you look said, my kid pushed that one through. Oh, the earlier $4.99. Well, thank you for the double super chat. Thank you for your kid to your kid for pushing that through. But I'm looking so hard into these parents. BF's dad forgot to mention her on his website under his about section. Whoa. I don't know if I've ever seen that website. If that is in the Discord or mods, let me know about that. Thank you, Not As Dumb As You Look. Brittany Barrett said, don't forget the last TikTok Kaylee posted about DM, and that goes back to a couple of callers talking about they were maybe making fun of or pranking Dylan, and she did not like that, and that could have been a reason for the escalation. Okie dokie, Lisa, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, was DM's art really hers or put there for this case? Great question. I believe that, she was a psychology major, eyes and psychology. I could see that connection. They look hand-drawn. They're weird. I don't want to say they're weird. It's weird now because of what happened. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were hers or if they were put there for just this case. Scouse House Girl said, Scouse House Girl gifted a membership. Monty gifted a membership. Juliet AF said, in your Chris interview, he said it didn't take place in the 2 a.m. because the blood cast of the second floor was liquid at 4:17 a.m. Yes, thank you for saying this. I forgot about that. Anyone know what he's basing that on? He does go on to explain it briefly, I think, in that interview. I actually have to go back and listen, Juliet. I'm going to make a note of that to do that tomorrow. Thank you for the super chat for pointing that out. Indy Lizzie, new member of Hive Plus. Welcome. Marantha Ferguson said, I believe a mutual quote-unquote friend was trying to come in between Ethan and Xana and did not succeed. Country Road Song. There's a video of Ethan and friend P singing. Yes. I can't believe that Kelly is the man connected John Denver to the Delts. That's a crazy theory. Or not a crazy theory. That's a crazy connection. And I don't think your theory is bad, Marantha, especially this whole Erica text. Erica, the Fernande, Brittany Fernande, all of this. It's like, who are these people? You know what I'm saying? Natasha Coral, welcome to Hive Plus. Blue Eyed Candy, thank you so much for gifting 5 Hive Plus memberships. Deb said, Birdie, thank you for all your insights. You're amazing. Appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you, Deb, for being a member for a month. Kylie Sox, thank you for the super chat. Blue Eyed Candy, thank you. Said cow prod, long rod zapper. Yes, I mean, there's so many people that believe that a taser was used. We've looked into it. The flash, the spark, the noise, the pop. I don't think anybody could rule it out. A lot of people feel that description is spot on. Thank you, Kylie Sox, for another $2 membership or $2 super chat. Uma, thank you so much for saying congratulations. I couldn't have done it with all of you. Kylie said $2 from all of us for Birdie's work. Well, thank you, Kylie Sox. Said it did 3 of those $2. That's awesome. And Doc Terry rounded out the super chats with a big $20 one. Thank you so much for the congratulations. And Hive, wow, another fantastic stream of call-ins. It's a little bit longer, but it's Friday night. I try to get through as many of those as I can. Monday, please don't miss it. The mods and I were having a team call this weekend. We are going to have an epic giveaway plan. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then plus, we now get to watch the test runs. And I will finish this stream out with this plague one more time. Hive, I hope you all have a fantastic night. Get some rest. Come to the stream Monday with your thinking caps on, and let's continue to expose all of this BS in this Idaho 4 case.